in the NFL, resides in St. Louis. Jim Hart, Jamel Gray, last week against Detroit, 63 yards and a touchdown. Last year he had a 78-yard touchdown catch against Philadelphia. Speaking of the Eagles, they're unbeaten after winning Monday night. Ron Jaworski hits Harold Carmichael, who takes it in from 22 yards out to keep his string alive of at least one catch in 115 consecutive games. As today in Busch Memorial Stadium, a sellout crowd on hand to witness the Cardinals, winless in 1980, playing host to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 3-0. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender, along with John Madden. And John, the Eagles have been awesome thus far. They've outscored their opponents 104-16 to the number one ranked offense and defense in the NFC. And what an improvement in Ron Jaworski.
Ron Jaworski is something. He's matured. He's more experienced. He's throwing the ball well. But I think the most important thing is he has the best team that he's ever played with. This is what Ron Jaworski had to say about his improvement.
Well, speaking of improvement, my improvement has been relative to the type of people that I'm now surrounded with. And when you've got a great offensive line like we have, and when you have fine receivers and fine running backs like we have, it's basically easy to play the quarterback position. Now, it hasn't happened overnight. I mean, Coach Emile has a fine system. He's worked hard. Our coaching staff has worked hard, and our players have worked hard. You look at our football team, and the personnel really hasn't changed drastically, but I think players have worked hard in the offseason, worked hard in training camp, and improved their own ability. And our coaches actually coach. They don't put the guys in the field and let them play. They coach them all the time. I think that's also one of the major reasons why we're a better football team.
His counterpart with St. Louis, Jim Hart's having an excellent year. He went over 30,000 yards last week against Detroit. He was given this game ball just prior to the start of today's game. Despite his outstanding performance, the team is still 0-3. Ask Jim what they're going to have to need and get to win a football game.
I think we need a victory. We need a victory against a team that's probably better than us, and that includes the Eagles right now. They're 3-0, we're 0-3, but it just takes a victory sometimes. I know in looking at the films, they're not that much better a team than we are, and it's a winning attitude that they have that we need to regenerate on the football Cardinals, and a victory against the Eagles would do just that.
Ready to go now. The Cardinals have won the toss. They've elected to receive. As you look back deep, Roy Green and Willard Harrell, Tony Franklin kicking off for the Eagles. Last year, the Eagles winning both these games for the first time since 1971. That will be out of the back of the end zone, and the Cardinals will have the football at the 20-yard line. Let's set now offensively this Cardinals team, and they are decimated by injury. Only Dan Deerdorf, the only man that started the season at that spot.
Right, but they still have Dan Deerdorf, and to me, he's the prototype of an NFL offensive lineman.
And Gray, well, he's caught at least one pass in 92 straight games.
Of course, Otis Anderson there. He's a threat every time he gets his hands on the ball.
You can see the completion percentage. Excellent job thus far by Jim Hart in the early going. He gives off to O.J. Anderson. He has 5, 6 maybe, across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Anderson's highest output this year has been 85 yards, yet to go over 100 yards. Let's check now defensively. This team, which is ranked number 1, already has 9 sacks this year.
And we see the 3 starters there. In addition to that group, they have Claude Humphrey, number 87, who comes in on passing downs, and he's a big contributor to that defense.
Number 1 draft pick, Roynell Young, playing that left cornerback spot. Second down, 5 yards to go. This is Anderson again. Anderson picking his way well, and he is very close to the first down, the 30-yard line. He just kind of weaved his way around on that play, and as they march the football, you see he's battling to be sure the ball isn't pushed backwards. That will be a first down for St. Louis. And, John, that's got to help the confidence of a team to get that initial first down.
Well, it's a nice start. You always want to do something where you block straight ahead, you go right at them, show that you can do that, get your start.
Look at the standings. St. Louis, the only team in the Eastern Division that hasn't captured a win. You can see it's going to be quite a struggle before this year is over. Next week, Philadelphia plays host to Washington. Tilley goes in motion on the first down. Hart with lots of time to throw the football. Being chased by Harrison, and he tried to hit Mel Gray. Gray at the 37, and that was remarkable effort by that offensive line. Roynell Young defending on the play. But if they're going to pass block like that, Hart's going to have quite an afternoon.
He is, and that's going to be a big part of this game. I've always felt that all football starts in the line, and you can have the greatest ideas in the world, the greatest pass pattern,
but unless you can protect and give the quarterback the time he needs, it's all very much academic.
And as we said, John, they have been hit so hard in that offensive line. They've lost Terry Steve. Bob Young failed his physical. Keith Wortman went out last week. Tom Banks had to move from center to guard. They patched it up, but right now looking pretty good. Second down 10 from the 30. Anderson again. Anderson steps outside to the 35, to the 37. That'll be a pickup of 7 yards. Roynell Young over there to make the stop. And right now, Anderson using his blockers extremely well.
He is, and he has a great start. One of the coaches for the Eagles was telling me the day before the game that they've noticed that Otis Anderson always seems to play the best when he's going up against another great back. And of course, the Eagles have Wilbert Montgomery, and they say that tends to bring the best out of him.
Third down 3 for St. Louis. They'll have Mel Gray to the bottom of the screen. Pat Tilley, who had 10 catches last week against Detroit, at the top of the screen. On the 3rd and 3. Hart again with time. Delivers to Anderson for the first down, and Anderson is out of bounds just short of the 45-yard line. Gary Robinson is playing with an ankle injury over there to knock him out of bounds, and Anderson right now is the focal point of this offense.
It is. I think the important thing on this play is the fact that this was the Eagles' sub-defense and that they had their 4 linemen. They had their pass rushers in there, and Jim Hart did get the time to throw the ball to Otis Anderson for a first down.
You can see Otis figuring in the passing game much more this year. Jim Hannafin wants him to run the ball less, but catch more passes. Run possibly 15 to 20 times a game. First down, they mark it at the 43-yard line. Hart to Anderson. Anderson across the 45 to the 47. And again, that offensive line of St. Louis doing a pretty good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. A few years ago, John, this offensive line of St. Louis gave up only 8 sacks, which is an NFL record.
That was a great offensive line, and of course the coach at that time was Jim Hannafin.
And you know, you mentioned Hannafin. You really know him very well, and boy, he needs that first victory.
He does. You know, I've never had experience being 0-3, but I had a lot of experience being 0-1. It seemed like we always lost that opener, and sometimes you wonder if you're ever going to win one.
Second down 7 for St. Louis. This is the initial series of the afternoon. A sellout crowd as O.J. Anderson this time dropped short of the 50-yard line. Carl Hairston making the stop. Hairston, who last year led the NFC in sacks with 15. Fifth-tier man out of Maryland State. As it's going to come now to still 3 yards short of the first down. Look at this. Pittsburgh roaring back after being upset last week.
Well, they will.
Tampa Bay, they lost last week. Cleveland's had a tough time getting that offense on track. And Los Angeles, boy, they scored 51 points last week, and they're going strong this week. Third down, almost 4 yards to go. Hart to put the ball in the air. Again, protection is there. This is Mel Gray. Gray at the 26-yard line, so close. Robinson, the linebacker, trying to get back there.
He had Roynell Young beat on that play. That was the first time that the Cardinals went to their 3 wide receivers. And Jim Hart found something there. That could be something that they want to do in these passing downs. We see it again. And he just goes right to work out there at that corner. He just overthrew it a little.
Very close, but I'm sure the Eagles will catalog that play and think about it.
And Roynell Young will think about it.
Larry Slider into kick. He's averaging 40.8, as you can see. Back deep is John Shira for the Eagles, along with Wally Henry. Beautiful kick. He got that one very high. They're going to let it hit. And they're going to get a break. St. Louis will have the ball inside the 5-yard line. Tom Brahaney, who snapped the ball, the setter getting down there to down it. And with bad field position, the Eagles have the ball for the first time. They mark it at the 5-yard line. The Philadelphia Eagles with the #1 rated offense in the NFC. They have 2 All-Pros and Walters and Sizemore at the tackle.
Woody Peoples, 37 years old.
And that receiving core, excellent. Smith having an outstanding game Monday night. And look at the stats on Ron Jaworski, the top-ranked passer in the NFC. From the 5, a first down for the Eagles. Jaworski getting off to Montgomery, and Montgomery out to the 9-yard line. Very precarious situation here for Philadelphia as we check defensively now, the St. Louis team. St. Louis going to a 3-4 this year.
I think that they have the perfect nose tackle to do it, number 73, Mike Dawson.
Their secondary and linebackers, well, Tim Collier is the man that's really a key to this team. He's a good pass coverage man.
He sure is. And Roger Worley, of course, 7 years in the Pro Bowl.
Collier was hurt earlier in the year, and they really missed him. 2nd down and 6 from the 9-yard line. Little delay this time to Montgomery. Trying to get outside. Good pursuit by St. Louis. Getting over there was Steve Niels, a veteran linebacker in his 7th year out of Minnesota. Good angle of pursuit that time.
That's one thing about the 3-man line. You know, they do have the extra linebacker, the 4th linebacker, and they're able to contain things and then get those 4 linebackers to flow, which they did here.
Good assist on that play by Tim Carney. The leading tackler on this team is Eric Williams, the inside linebacker. Carney playing healthy after being felled last year in the 5th game with a knee injury. Cincinnati, who upset Pittsburgh, leading Houston. Say that Cincinnati team has given everybody fits.
I don't think it'll end that way, though.
3rd down and 4. Louis Giamona is coming to the backfield. Jaworski on 3rd and 4. Intended for Montgomery. Reaching over is Tim Carney. Carney almost made contact, but he reached over and was able to make a fine play.
He also almost made an interception, and had he gotten that ball, that would have been a touchdown for the Cardinals.
So the Eagles will have to kick the football. Matt Leniger will go back, averaging 36.8. Willard Harrell is back deep for the Cardinals. 9.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. There's the average on Matt. 2nd-year man out of South Carolina. So Dick Vermeil just feels will get better and better. He was an 8th-round pick a year ago, taking a lot of time. Leniger. Harrell's going to let the ball hit, and it hits one of the Cardinals, Carl Allen, and I believe the Eagles may have it. The Eagles do. Carl Allen downfield the block on that play, inadvertently was hit by the football, and before he could get on it, the Eagles have pounced on the football, so they get the field position and also the football back.
There's another thing that drives a coach crazy. I used to have a rule that any time that the ball wasn't being fielded, you just ran off the field. We didn't want any blocking. We didn't want anyone touching, because what happens there is if the ball hits your man, then they can recover the ball, and it happened right in front of the Eagle bench.
So it's a 44-yard line, a 32-yard kick that turns into an outstanding dividend for this Philadelphia team. Jaworski has Smith, Carmichael at the top of the screen on this first down. Play action to Montgomery. Now he's going to try to hit Wilbert, and does, to the 50-yard line. Look at the cut by this man for a first down at the 43. John, is there a better cutback runner in the NFL than Montgomery?
I don't think so. And one thing about a cutback runner, he can really do it on artificial turf. And I think we'll see a lot of that today, both from Wilbert Montgomery and Otis Anderson. What was interesting here is we look at the replay that Jaworski was really looking deep. He wanted to go to Harold Carmichael in the post, but it was good deep coverage. But of course, it wasn't good short coverage.
2 safeties getting over to the green. Ken and Roy to make the stop. A 14-yard pickup to the 42-yard line. Boy, you can't make mistakes against the good football teams. And Philadelphia now trying to capitalize on that fumble. Leroy Harris. Harris straight ahead, inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Harris, one of the vastly improved players on this team. Interesting thing about Harris, John, is that Dick Vermeil said he is now an Eagle. He really has a thing about what it takes to be an Eagle.
He sure does. In fact, I was talking to Dick about that before the game, and I think the impressive thing is Dick knows what an Eagle is. And there's so many people in this game that really don't know what they want from players or within players if they don't know what they're looking for. But Dick Vermeil knows what an Eagle is, so therefore he can get his players to be Eagle.
And right now an Eagle is a winning team. 2nd down and 6. For a 4-yard pickup by Harris. Play action by Jaworski. A flag on the play. Jaworski intended for Presley. That was Carney again over there, but as we mentioned, there was a flag just about the time the ball was snapped. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals and the National Football League is prohibited. And so the Eagles going to back up.
As we look at Ron Jaworski here, that pass could have been completed, and I think that was Presley's fault. He didn't work back. I mean, he got in the middle. He had
Number
a look
62,
there.
offense, lining up offside, penalty declined, 3rd down.
Boy, that's unusual. A guard, payroll, lining up offside.
Well, you want them to get up and get as much of the ball as they can, and sometimes they take too much of it.
He He's an aggressive type player, but too aggressive.
Used to be a defensive player. It looked like he wanted to line up over there to the defensive side.
What Ramil said about Payroll, he has a defensive disposition. Giamona, Montgomery now, the running back. It's now 3rd down and 6. Carmichael, you can see him coming in motion. That's a different wrinkle. Here's Jaworski to Carmichael, intercepted by and Carl Allen may go all the way. Jaworski can't get it. Allen will take it in for the touchdown. Carl Allen, who earlier made the big mistake of fumbling, now comes back with an interception and goes. There is a flag back at the 47-yard line. That's a 68-yard return. Let's see if it stands or if, in fact, the penalty is against St. Louis. Look at this again.
It was a great, you see, he lobbed this ball a little too much. It was a crossing pattern by Carmichael, and Jaworski left it in the air a little too long. Allen was able to get underneath it, and he makes a fine run here and picks up some great blocks. Look at Stan Walters being blocked there, and then, of course, the last man is Jaworski. No, quarterbacks never really were good tacklers, but, of course, the penalty is against the St. Louis Cardinals. Jim Hannafin's out on the field.
Boy, he is really upset, and I'm not sure what about. That was a 68-yard return. Gordon McCarter, the official. Jim Hannafin clear out. And you're not winning. You fight for everything. Let's listen.
It's not against St.
The
Louis.
penalty was against Philadelphia. The touchdown is good. The penalty will be assessed on the extra point on the kickoff.
So what it was all about is they will assess the penalty after this point after.
He never did say what the penalty was, did he?
I don't believe he
said
did.
No, he said the penalty. I wonder
Anyway,
what happened.
The 68-yard interception by Alan Stan. And so Allen, who was a ghost, now becomes the hero of this juncture of the game.
St. Louis has had some tough breaks in their first 3 games. They've made a lot of mistakes, and of course they made one on the punt before, and then they saw the flag and they were anticipating another one. I think that's why they were arguing.
Well, I tell you, Jim Hannafin got his point across, didn't he?
Right on the 50-yard line.
Steve Little, point after attempt, is on the way, and Little makes it a 7-0 game. And the Cardinals, looking as though they may have mistakes on them, come back with the interception and jump out to this 7-0 lead. Let's look at this interception on Harold Carmichael that now has been officially ruled as a 70-yarder by Carl Allen.
We see it there again. You know, sometimes they say that you can just throw anything high to Carmichael, and that's probably true, but it can't stay in the air that long.
Back deep is Wally Henry. We noticed that just a moment ago a golf cart took Scott Pitzke into the dressing room, one of the Eagle wide receivers. We hope he's all right. Harry Harrington, the rookie, trying to bring the ball out, and he's going to be dropped around the 15-yard line. That's John Fairfield, the man known as Dr. Doom, who got down there so quickly, and you don't think that interception may have fired this St. Louis team up.
It will, and that's one of the things that they needed. I mean, before the game where Dan Dierdorf says that they need to play a team like the Eagles, I think that's true. I also think that they need some breaks like that within a game.
Jim Stillman, our producer, just got the word on what that penalty was all about. We knew it was roughing. We didn't know who was the guy that did it. It's Payroll, who earlier was just offside. It was guilty of the penalty. They tacked it on the ensuing kickoff. Right now, from the 15-yard line, first down for the Eagles. This is Montgomery. He has a hole, and he's out across the 25 to the 28-yard line. First down, Ken Green, the free safety up there, and good blocking up front that time.
But can he explode? He starts in there, the line takes off, they do a good job. They give him a little crease in here. He has the off guard pulling up through the hole. But watch this burst right now where he turns it on. Wilbert Montgomery is one of the best pass backs in the National Football League today.
He had 169 yards against the Minnesota Vikings. He's the guy that through his career already has 15 100-yard days. First down at the 28-yard line. 7-0 St. Louis. Play action by Jaworski. Broken up. Reaching up, one of the big defensive linemen. And that is Ron Jankowski, 78, who was cut before the start of the regular season and re-signed when their #1 draft pick, Curtis Greer, sustained a concussion. Jankowski's going to make them believe they should have had him here all the time.
Good defensive play. What happens? The pass rusher will see Jankowski stop right there. He should start and only rush until the quarterback throws the ball. Once he throws it, you stop your rush and get up in the air.
Gets those hands up, and Jankowski, who had 2 sacks last week against Detroit, batting 1 down. Steve Jaworski, as far as career against St. Louis, he's been effective. He played here last year. He got hurt in the game, came back and led the Eagles to victory. Eagles winning both games. They've won the last 3. Here's Jaworski back on a 2nd and 10. Lots of time to throw. And intended for Montgomery, and he's deep belted by Roy Green. Montgomery shaken up. This St. Louis team is flying around and hitting people right now. Jaworski trying to throw against the grain, and this is a man, John, they can ill afford to lose.
That is, and that could very well be a rib thing in there. When they get hit like that, he was going up in the air where inside his chest, his ribs were exposed, and he got the shoulder pad right there. It was interesting, again, he was trying to go out here to the right side to Harold Carmichael. You see him, look, he's waiting. He can't do it now. He comes back to Montgomery.
And so Roy Green, thinking that Montgomery would get the catch, came over and really belted him. Well, people are opening up their offense. Look at that, John. Highest scoring weekend in the history of the NFL, 676 points. Today, we've seen some new wrinkles already. Montgomery now is walking off the field. Let's hope he'll be able to continue.
He looks like he's all right, and I'm sure that high scoring will continue throughout the season, Jerry. It's really a result of some new rules that were put in 3 years ago. I think the coaches have finally figured out how to use them, and I think we'll see that the rest of the year.
So we have a 3rd down 10. Leroy Harris and Louis Chiamona in the backfield behind Jaworski. Charlie Smith to the top of the screen. Carmichael at the bottom. The Cardinals leading 7-0 on a 70-yard interception by Carl Allen. Jaworski back. Protection breaking down. At the 19-yard line, Bob Pollard has him. That's only the 2nd time Jaworski's been sacked. Only the 3rd time the Eagles have been sacked this year. And that's only the 5th sack by St. Louis this year.
I know that we see again the reason is they got that long yardage. They had that 3rd and 10 where everyone knew that he had a pass. The Cardinals put in their 4 defensive linemen. Rookie Stafford Mays came in, and they got a good pass rush. You have to stay away on those 3rd down, the way defense is today, those 3rd and long situations.
You want to dictate to that defense.
You sure do. With success on 1st and 2nd down.
It's 4th and 20. That sends Runninger inside the 5-yard line to kick. 6 minutes remaining in the 1st quarter. Runninger hits very high. Harrell is back. He'll take this one to the 45, trying to go wide and good coverage that time. And in particular, John Shira, number 21, is such a versatile football player for the Philadelphia Eagles. And so the Cardinals will have the football at their own 41. With John Madden, I'm Gary Bender. That last kick by Runninger was 38 yards. And the Cardinals at the 41. They have Tilley at the top of the screen, Gray at the bottom. Otis Anderson, Wayne Morris, the running backs behind Jim Hart. Hart on the play action, throwing on 1st down. Has the time to throw. Tilley at the 40-yard line. Tilley gets to the 39. And Pat Tilley, who already this year has 19 catches, is stopped by Bernard Wilson. And again, the protection was there.
The protection was there, and Pat Tilley made a great move on Roynell Young. Again, it was a corner. They had this earlier. Hart didn't get it to him, but on this one, he got it to him. I can see that they have a plan to run out and corners, outside move to their right on Roynell Young. And until he stops it, I'm sure they'll see it all day.
That was a 20-yard pickup to the 39-yard line of Philadelphia. The Cardinals on the move again. Tilley and Gray to the top of the screen this time. Jim Hart has been magnificent this year. Gives off straight ahead to Wayne Morris, and Morris to the 37, a pickup of 2. It'll be 2nd down 8. You look at Jim Hart. He comes in here hitting 65% of his passes. Yet his team is 0-3. There's a big game in the NFC Central Division. Minnesota winning last week. Detroit unbeaten this year. 3-0, and Mr. Sims is something.
So is Tommy Kramer on the other side of the ball.
Jim Hart with a 2nd down 8. Hart to Anderson. Anderson, look at the cutback that he had, but doesn't pick up all that much. Gets to the 36. Carl Hairston made the stop. Anderson showing that power move that he has. Let's analyze Anderson a little bit.
We'll see the cutback here, and again, a great back will make some great cutbacks. As we see him here, he plants his outside. outside foot and starts back to the other side. But the person that is responsible for that is the offside, the lineman away, and we see number 78, Carl Harrison, making that tackle.
3rd and 7. We have a report on Scott Fitzke. He has been taken to the hospital for observation. It looks as though he has some type of a foot injury. We'll update you on that later. On a 3rd and 7, Hart back. Time to throw again. Tilley at the 25, the 20, and out of bounds. Richard Blackmore made the stop, and Pat Tilley, who runs impeccable patterns, open again.
He runs great patterns. You know, I know that I had Fred Blitnikoff, and all these people that run these patterns will remind me of Fred, but geez, that was a nice quick move, and it was against the 5 defensive backs of the Eagles, and it was on number 27, Richard Blackmore.
15-yard pickup. Tilley's been the leading receiver the last 2 years for the St. Louis team. 57 catches a year ago, 62 2 seasons ago.
He's Mr. Steady, isn't he?
Boy, he works hard, John, after practice. I'm sure you've had players like that who'll stay out hours after practice is over.
All the great ones do.
First down, Anderson to the 20-yard line. That'll be about a yard, and that's all. And it's getting stiff up front. That first series, Cardinals looked like they might be able to run the football. But I tell you, this Philadelphia defense isn't number 1 and number 5 against the pass for nothing. They played very well. You know, Anderson is playing with a bad shoulder. He's getting better, but they have special shoulder pads for him. In fact, we have quite a few players in this game who've had to have special equipment to continue playing. Trefley for Philadelphia. From the 20, 2nd down and 9. Mishandled snap. Nope, he's got it now. Gets it off to Wayne Morris. Morris to the 20 and makes it to the 16-yard line. That was kind of a strange play, wasn't it?
That's an experienced quarterback. When he could take something like that, it was something between he and his center. You see, he starts to leave before the ball snap. He leaves, the ball snaps, he catches it in midair and still makes a little play out of it. That's experience.
Well, as we showed you at the top of the show, he's thrown for over 30,000 yards. I suppose he's been in that situation before.
He's been there before. Those missed snaps, the bobble balls, he's probably had them all.
3rd down now, 6 for number 17. Hart 4 of 6 thus far for 44 yards in this game. The Cardinals with a 7-0 lead. Anderson is dropped immediately. That's Reggie Wilkes, number 51 and linebacker out of Georgia Tech. Boy, he was there quickly.
Well, I see they have one good idea, and that's to throw out there on Roynell Young on out pattern. And I see they also have a bad idea, and that's trying to pop a trap inside. They did it twice on 1st down, and that one on 3rd and long, and that isn't one of the plays that is going to be successful today against the Eagles.
37-yard field goal attempt. Little is 0 for 2. The Cardinals are the only team this year that has not successfully kicked a field goal. Little gets this one on the way, and it's no good. He's 0 for 3. He missed a 25-yarder last week. He misses a 37-yarder here, and the Cardinals lose an opportunity, and number 12 must feel like a very lonely man as he comes to the sideline at the 142 mark.
He probably comes to a very upset sideline. You know, anytime you have an opportunity like that, you get a drive, even though they have a lead of 7-0. You know, that 3 points is always a big 3 points.
John, there's been 4 kickers drafted in the 1st round. Little, Russell Ertzleben, you had Ray Guy and Charlie Gogolak, and it's been tough for some of those guys to handle the pressure.
It has been. Other than Ray Guy, none of the others have been real successful.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. Montgomery's back in the ball game. That's good news, and he brings it out to the 25, to the 27, 28-yard line. So he's back, a gain of 8. Let's go back on that previous point. You have a theory as to why they get so uptight kicking.
You know what happens? They have so long between plays. They kick a field goal or try a field goal or an extra point or a punt. Then they have to go over and stand on the sideline for 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes 3 quarters if they're a kicker, and they have all this time to think. And I really think all kickers think too much.
2nd down, 2 yards to go. Rush Brown has come in defensively. That's Leroy Harris trying to get the 1st down, and I don't know if he got it. It'll be 3rd and short, or they got the 1st down. That time, the Cardinals playing tough up front. St. Louis coming in here, the 9th-ranked defense in the NFC. 7 against the rush, 12 against the pass.
Wilbert Montgomery on that first down run, he looked like a man possessed, didn't he?
Let's look at some of the play in the trenches, and in particular, number 76, Sizemore.
I love this thing. Watch him come out, stay low, and get a good block on Tim Carney. That's a big thing for a tackle, is being able to handle a man on him, and then also be able to come to the inside and pick off a linebacker, which are two totally different types of blocks.
It is the first down. We just have an update on Scott Fitzke now. The x-rays indicated that Fitzke does have a fractured foot, will not play for the remainder of the day, which gives them some problems in their offensive theory of what they wanted to do today.
It does. Although Scott Fitzke wasn't a starting wide receiver, he was their third wide receiver, and they like to play with three of them at the same time a lot.
So the first down at the 30-yard line. 38 seconds left in this first quarter. 7-0. St. Louis with the lead. Jaworski gives off to Montgomery, and he may get a yard, and that's all. Again, very good reaction by St. Louis. Mike Dawson, the nose tackle. He said something about Mike Dawson. He has to be important today because on a cutback runner by Montgomery, he can avoid some of those difficulties.
That's what he does. You know, the nose tackle, the man over the center, is responsible for a cutback. Usually when you get a cutback is when the nose tackle, in his pursuit, overruns the ball carrier. So he has to stay inside him, which he did on that last play, and there was no cutback.
Half-yard pickup, second down, 9.5 to go, and that is going to be the end of our first quarter of play. So the Cardinals leading at 7-0 on an interception return by Carl Allen. The distance, some 70 yards. A sellout crowd here at Busch Stadium as we played 15 minutes, and the Cardinals on top 7-0. With the football, the Eagles, second down, 9.5 yards to go, just across their own 30-yard line. Had one injury, Fitzke out for the game. Montgomery was shaken up. He is back in. That's the injury report as the Eagles 3-0, trailing early in this football game. Montgomery and Leroy Harris, the running back. Boy, they're moving around a lot more this year. That's something Dick Vermeil has given this team. Back to throw, Jaworski. Carmichael wide open to the 40, to the 35, and Carmichael continues his string. It's now the 116 game as Roy Green makes the tackle, and they gobbled up some yardage in a hurry. 36 yards to be exact.
Harold Carmichael signaling something about being number one, and of course he is as a target. This was a crossing pattern. It was a waggle. The quarterback starts out to the right. Harold Carmichael starts on the left side, runs all the way across the field. And the one thing about him is he's such a great target. As he runs across there, you can see him clearing areas.
36 yards. They say Carmichael's not as fast, but he really does a good job in the open field. Cuts well, uses his experience. Here's Montgomery on the first down, and Montgomery inside the 30-yard line to the 29. He's running as though he was not hurt at all. Payroll throwing the block. This Eagle forward wall is kind of an interesting collection of players. They have the two All-Pros in Sizemore and Walters, and Payroll's a rookie. Peoples, on the other hand, is a 37-year-old who they say practices like a 24-year-old.
I think there's a lot to that. We used to always talk about physical age and chronological age, and they're two different things.
See that score, Los Angeles jumping all over the Giants. I think the Rams have come back. Here's Montgomery on a second down 6. And he'll get to the 27, maybe the 26-yard line. Nothing fancy about that. They're just pitching and rolling out that way. And Montgomery with a great cutting ability. Tim Carney made the stop.
I think Dick Vermeil on the sideline right now would be saying that we're going back to Eagle football. The first few times they had the ball, they really didn't have good field position. They didn't get anything going. Now they're coming there and they're just going right at the St. Louis defense. And I know Dick Vermeil, and I know that's what he wants to do.
Third down 3. Thus far, the Eagles are 0 of 3 on third down conversion. So they're trying to convert their first one of this game. Jaworski on the 3rd and 3. Tries to hit Giamona. Mark Arneson, 57, defending on the play. Jim Hannafin feeling that he has played outstanding football, and we have a flag on the play. Good coverage that time. They didn't fool anybody. And the Eagles are backing up, anticipating the penalty against them.
Of course, it was third down, and it's an interesting call here. Do you give Ron Jaworski another shot at your defense on third down, or do you let him try the field goals? Of course, with Tony Franklin, the decision is made a little easier. They say, let's put him back there. And he see if we can play defense another play.
Holding, number 76, offense, repeat third down.
That's Sizemore, the man that our director Bob Fishman isolated on just a moment ago, throwing a good block. Well, Franklin this year hasn't really been tested, John. His longest field goal has been 32 yards. He's only kicked 2 of 3. They've been moving the ball so well, they haven't needed him.
I don't think he has to be tested. I think he can do it.
Third down, 13 after the holding penalty. Let's see if that was a wise decision to take the penalty. Carmichael puts to the bottom of the screen. Jaworski on 3rd and 13 has time to throw. Hits Giamona. He can't hang on. And that will bring up a punting situation. Giamona, who's just been an outstanding special teams player, who's the nephew of Dick Vermeil, did not hang on that time. I said punt. Certainly not going to try a field goal. Here comes Runninger in. That would be quite a shot, wouldn't it?
I would like to see it.
Would you?
Yeah, that would be would have been a 53-yard field goal.
As you know, last year Franklin kicked beautiful 59-yarder, the second longest in the history of the National Football League. So he's done it before. Runninger to kick. 3 men back for St. Louis: Bell, Harrell, and Roy Green. Runninger to kick from the 48-yard line. Wait a minute. They're going to fake it. You can hear the yelling in the background. He's going for the corner, and he's not going to get it. There is a flag on the play, though, at the 25.
And I'm sure Runninger waited too long for his coverage to get down there, and someone left before the ball was kicked. Of course, the rule is that only the 2 outside men can leave until the ball's kicked. He was trying to hold it because there was no rush. And while he was holding it, someone from the inside left. It's interesting that the Cardinals had 3 men back there.
Ineligible downfield, number 51 kicking team, declined, first down St. Louis.
Reggie Wilkes is the man. The ball made it in the end zone to the 20. We'll develop that thought in a moment, John, as to why St. Louis did have 3 men back on that punt. There was no fake. Some people started to think there might be. Cardinals with the ball at the 20. John, you were starting to develop a point as why the Cardinals had 3 men back on that punt.
What that's to do is to guard against the coffin corner kick. They put two men on the sideline, and if you try and kick to the sideline, then they have a return man there that can catch the ball and get it upfield.
In that instance, they got to thinking maybe they better come up there because Runninger was taking a long time kicking the ball.
Reggie Wilkes couldn't wait.
From the 20, first down. St. Louis, 7. Philadelphia, nothing. In motion, that's Doug March, the tight end. This is Anderson. He has some running on the 30, 35, 36-yard line. And you could see the burst that this second-year man could put on. Great acceleration. A 17-yard pickup by the man known as the Juice.
He can. And watch Big Dan Deerdorf fire out there on Dennis Harrison. He gets him going, and then Otis Anderson is right by him.
Get the feeling Anderson may have a big day. Let's
Watch
look at Dan
number
Deerdorf.
72 here. Watch him fire out. Now that's a real thing of strength there. And it doesn't take an awful lot with a back like Otis Anderson. You just get him going, you get him tied up for a second, and boom, he's right by.
You can see we have an injury. It was out of our sight in front of the Cardinal bench. It's one of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we'll catch it for you. We said that Anderson might have a big day. That's Roynell Young, number 43. Anderson has 39 yards now on 9 carries, and he had a big hole on that last one for 17 yards. Boy, it's good football weather here today. The first sellout of the year for the Cardinals. 12:28 to go in the second quarter. The Cardinals with a 7-0 lead. They have a first down at the 37 on first down. Hard to throw. Broken up by Dennis Harrison, number 68. Boy, when you're 6'8", then you get your arms up. You got to get that ball up high to get it over him.
He did that last week, of course, with a right-handed quarterback. That's always a tough thing for the quarterback, and he's thinking to work this right side. They started on Roynell Young out there. Roynell Young was hurt on the play before, so on first down, he went right to work on number 27, Richard Blackmore.
Young, we think will be all right. He went off walking on his own power. As we come to a second down 10, in fact, he is well. He's back in the ball game now.
Yeah, that's pretty well.
Came back in. Second down 10 from the 37. Hart stepping up, just got rid of that ball. Gray broken up, and that one was almost intercepted by Herman Edwards, who had 2 interceptions Monday night. Randy Logan also over there. Boy, that ball was in the air a long time.
It was in the air a long time. He was hit just at the time he threw it, or right after he threw the ball. I think that took a little off it. We see a double coverage out here. You know, it's a short and deep thing. And the short man was underneath, and the deep man was deep, and they sandwiched Mel Gray.
You saw that 41 touchdown catches. He passed Jackie Smith, trailing only Sonny Randall in the Cardinal honor roll. That 41st one was a 63-yard catch last week. The Otis Brown, Otis Anderson, the running backs. You see the third down conversions thus far. Hart on this 3rd and 10. And almost intercepted by Blackmore. The intended receiver, Mark Bell, who was in there, and Blackmore, who's been battling Young for that starting cornerback spot, did a very good job there.
He's in there in the 5 defensive back situation. And again, I think if I were Jim Hart, I think I would keep working to my right. He's had great success when he's thrown the ball to his right, and he's had a little trouble when he's thrown the ball to his left.
Because of the players, or just the fact that he's a right-hander?
No, because of the Philadelphia defense.
Back to kick slider. Wally Henry and also John Shira back for the Eagles inside the 25-yard line. A very fine kick. Wally Henry at the 20-yard line. This guy is an outstanding returner. To the 30, 35, he may go. To the 45, he's hit. And only by the tackle that he bounced off of gave Lee Nelson time to recover and get back and make the tackle at the 49. A 30-yard return on a 44-yard punt. And Henry, he's never satisfied with his returns. He always wants to get more, but he did quite a job there.
That's the attitude that you need, as we see this here again. And we don't see the long returns anymore because they can't block below the waist, but they got a few good blocks above the waist right there. And then Wally Henry only needs a little crack, and he can make something pretty good happen.
Boy, you can see how important that glancing tackle was. That gave Nelson the time he needed to catch this speedster. Henry last year in the Pro Bowl returned 186 yards. After a 30-yard return by Wally Henry, the Eagles have it at their own 49-yard line. On first down, Harrison Montgomery, the running back, behind Ron Jaworski. Jaworski to Carmichael. Carmichael to the 50, to the 45. He's close to the first down as he's hammered out at the 42. And that big 6'8" wide receiver really can get that big frame up the field and do a job.
That's the thing that always amazed me about Harold Carmichael, the way he can get any bend like that in his knees. They were throwing a screen out here, and the big block was by the right tackle, Jerry Sizemore. He got out in front of the throw and made the block that allowed Harold Carmichael to break away.
We have Mike Dawson shaken up for the Cardinals, the nose tackle that we talked about earlier. Dawson played very well last week in the films we looked at against the Detroit Lions. If he can't continue, a rookie by the name of Bill Acker, a 6th-round pick out of the University of Texas, would replace him. Baseball, Yankees leading Detroit 2-0 in the 3rd inning. Baltimore trying somehow to overhaul. The Yankees are deadlocked with Cleveland 1-1. It's going to take a miraculous effort by Baltimore to be able to get into the World Series this year.
Looks grim.
And so Dawson now, they're looking him over. Mike Dawson last year was a defensive end. They moved him into nose tackle, which is really his position to play. And Stan Man out of the University of Arizona was the 1st-round draft pick of the Cardinals in '76, the first player in the history of the University of Arizona to be taken on the 1st round.
I was thinking that year that we may get him in the 2nd round. We didn't have a 1st-round choice, and we were using the 3-man line at the time, and I thought we had an early 2nd, and I was hoping that Mike Dawson would be there because, to me, the way you play the 3-man line today, as we look at him walking off the field here, look at the size of those shoulders and arms. That's the type of guy you need to play that nose tackle because they take a real beating in there.
He's 6'4", 275-pounder. And looks like he's going to be all right. Johnny Omohundro, the trainer there with him.
You know, he was a wrestler in college, too. And I think that nose tackle, defensive linemen, guys that are in there in the trenches, grunting and groaning, that wrestler background kind of helps them.
Well, they got him coming from every direction, don't they?
They sure do. From the front, from both sides, and sometimes they just run right over the top of them.
You know, injuries are interesting, John. Do they hit cycles, or it's like some teams just go, and they never can get anybody healthy?
I think sometimes they do get cycles, but one thing that, especially the minor things, one thing that cures a lot of minor injuries is some victories.
The teams that are winning don't have as many then.
No, not quite as many, but they don't last as long.
Second down, 1 yard to go from the 42. Harris and Montgomery jumping around. They look like the Dallas Cowboys out there, the way they're jumping their backs around. Play action by Jaworski. He's going for all of it. He's hit. Montgomery broken up by Steve Niels. So he was going for all of it on a 2nd and 1. Mark Arneson dumped Jaworski as he released the football, and you saw Niels come close to an interception.
Sometimes that's the best defense. It starts right there with the line in the trenches. You see, as he's hit there, that takes something off the ball, and that's just enough for the defense to recover. Had that been good and solid pass protection, that could have been a touchdown or at least a big play.
Shows you again, John, how they're opening up the offense on a short yardage play.
And it also shows how important pass protection is. Any pass pattern starts with protection.
See the Lions trying to win their 4th in a row. Thus far, the Eagles on 3rd downs are 0 of 4, and here's one of 3rd and 1. Harris, and he has it. Good job by Leroy Harris to the 36-yard line.
You always tell your, Gary, you always tell your linemen, both on offense and defense, in any short yardage to stay low. Both the Cardinals and the Eagles stayed low, and Harris went right over the top of both of them.
So at the 36, the 1st down. That's the first time the Eagles have converted on a 3rd down in this game. 11:19 to go till halftime. Philadelphia with a 3-0 record, leading the NFC both offensively and defensively, outscoring their opponents 104-16. Harrington's in the backfield with Montgomery. Montgomery on a 1st down, hit hard at the 35. He may have gotten a yard, and that's all. Hey, that interception by St. Louis really picked up the intensity of this football team.
It sure did, and that's what impresses me about this Cardinals defense.
Now explain this, John.
We see here, this is the offensive signal to quarterback Ron Jaworski. What happens is the coach gives 3 signals. He gives a formation, a play, and a blocking combination.
That's Lynn Stiles, who's wearing that yellow shirt that is wig-wagging those plays out there. 2nd down, virtually 10 yards to go for the Eagles. Jaworski again wants to throw. The protection is excellent. And he hits his big tight end, Prepley. And his forward progress is close to the 25-yard line. Prepley's the man they lost in the preseason, the first preseason game with a shoulder separation, but he's back and strong now.
He is, and while he was out, John Spagnuolo did a good job for him in there. We see here the pass protection. See what happens when there's no one in front of the quarterback. Then he has better sight lines, plus he can step up.
He can throw that ball on the line, too.
He can.
Boy,
you like to have someone in his face.
Jaworski's never been criticized for having a weak arm. 1st down now at the 25-yard line. Prepley with that catch after 41 of them a year ago. Here's Montgomery, cut back, 20. Boy, is he quick to the 17-yard line. Eric Williams over to make the stop. Let's look at number 31, an isolation shot.
You're right, he is quick. He's quick getting into the hole, but the most important thing is once he gets into the hole, right here, watch that burst. He just explodes and gets another 5 or 10 yards.
Can't coach that, can you?
No, you can't. That's a natural thing. I think they feel pretty good when they see that opening there. Oh, there's a surprise.
Yeah, Green Bay playing Dallas in Milwaukee. Packers were hammered last week. Harry Harrington still in the backfield. He's their number 2 draft pick out of Jackson State. He's back there with Montgomery. 2nd down, a long yard to go. Montgomery, he has the 1st down inside the 15. Mark Arneson, 57, making the stop. The 9-year man from Arizona. 1st down, Philadelphia. They're going back to what you said earlier, John, just basic Eagle football. They're taking them right at them.
They're going back to Eagle football.
There's a part of this crowd. They've had to turn the lights on here because of the overcast skies, but it's really a beautiful day for football. Tim Carney has come out of the ball game. He is shaken up. Looks like an arm. Replacing him is Calvin Favron. There's your 1st down, because we have a 1st down. Here is Montgomery. Montgomery, 15, 10, lowers his shoulder to the 6-yard line.
Wilbur Montgomery shows us everything. He shows us the quickness, getting through the hole, the burst through the hole, and then finishing off a run is so important, and he does it on this play. He gets there. It looks like an inside or off-tackle play. He bounces to the outside, but watch him finish off this run. Boom, boom.
Did you see Roger Worley and Ken Green collide? We have a man shaken up on the play. That would be Worley. Both he and Green hit helmets as they came to the point of impact. And Worley's down right now. We have a timeout. The Cardinals with a 7-0 lead. Roger Worley's off the field. Looks like he'll be all right. 7 straight times he's gone to a Pro Bowl. 12-year veteran. Went to the Pro Bowl. Did very well last year, as you would expect. Out of the University of Missouri. Second down now, 2. They can get a first and goal at the 4-yard line. 7-0. St. Louis with the lead. Jaworski to Montgomery. I don't know if he got that first and goal or not. Arneson coming from the backside to make that tackle. As St. Louis, Rush Brown will come in, so 2 tight ends in on this play.
That's right. I was surprised that they didn't do it the play before, but they can get a first down.
Third down. Less than a yard to go for a first and goal. Everybody, as you can see, in tight. Jaworski on the sneak. Good second effort by Jaworski. And so they'll stop the clock and see if, in fact, he did get the first and goal.
Depends on where the official puts his foot down. If he puts his left foot down, it's a first down. If he puts his right foot down...
You never did argue with him either, did you?
I always did. I checked that thing. They'd come running from the sideline, a guy'd come running in and just throw the foot down, the inadvertent foot. And if again, there it was a left foot, it'd be a first down. If it's a right foot, it's not. But then they go through this marking, the change thing.
Oh, I know it. And one of the officials, the headlines of Bill Ross is out there today. He said he officiated your last football game.
Last game, he said that I was the last official in the NFL that I ever yelled at, that he was.
That's a dubious distinction.
I've yelled at some of them from up here. They don't listen up here, though. That was the first time.
All right.
That was a left foot.
You only said, what were you telling me earlier? You only had one 15-yard penalty called on you?
Jack Petty called it. He's in this game, up in Denver. But you know what we did on the next play? We intercepted it. So I said that proves that I was right.
First and goal inside the 5. Montgomery on the cut, and Montgomery to the 2-yard line. Boy, it looks like he might take it in. Great determination that time. And Montgomery moves it closer before Ken Green, the free safety, over to make the stop. The Cardinals started the year with Ken Green at strong safety and Ken Stone at free safety. Then Stone was taken out of the starting lineup, and they put Roy Green at strong and Ken at free, if you can follow all of that. Second down goal with the 2.
I have no idea.
Anyway, the 2 Greens are in there at the safety. In motion goes Carmichael. Montgomery, and Montgomery did not get in. He's very close. The ball loose. The Cardinals are indicating they have the football. No official as of yet has indicated that. Montgomery trying to dive to the goal line. And it looks like it's still Philadelphia's football. Boy, the Cardinals thought differently, didn't they?
There's a lot of signals going on down there. The Cardinals were signaling that it was a fumble. The Eagles were signaling that they only have about 3 or 4 inches to go for a touchdown. You know what impresses me here is we look at this, don't think it was a fumble. One thing, if the ball hits the ground and comes out, that's not a fumble.
Here we go, 3rd and goal inside the 1-yard line. Eagles trying to tie this game up at the 5:24 mark of the first quarter. Harris, he did not get in. Leroy Harris did not get in. It's 4th down. Harris is upset. He thought he did. We'll have a replay on that one. Let's look at it from the ground.
He did. That's outstanding defense. You want the linemen to stay low as they do. The linebackers to come over the top for the jump, which they did. Harris started the jump. There was no penetration by the offense. They didn't get any movement. As he went to jump, the 2 linebackers hit him right at the top of his jump. That wasn't a touchdown.
Jaworski called the timeout. They're going to try to decide whether they're going to go for it or kick the field goal. John, what do you think? 5:02 to go in the first half. Is it too early to go for it?
Well, I don't know. I would probably kick the field goal. I don't think that's a sign of weakness. I think sometimes you have to get that first score. And with the score 7-0, a field goal is a big play.
Here they go going for it on 4th and goal to half-yard line. Early gamble in the game. Jaworski's going to bootleg it in. Nobody saw him with the football. Jaworski with a beautiful fake. Let me ask you something. You think he told the team he was going to do that?
Yes, I do, because I said before the play that you'll probably run a bootleg there. And I think what they try and do is sometimes all he wants to do is get everyone to think inside, and sometimes they don't tell the line, and he just goes to the outside. But I think that he had to call that play in the huddle.
And so now a chance to tie it up, Tony Franklin. That drive took over 7 minutes. Culminating on that bootlegger by Ron Jaworski, and he fooled everybody in Busch Stadium. There's that bare foot of Tony Franklin. And Franklin, who just powers the football, has tied it up, but there is a flag on the play. Flag in the back part of the end zone. When Franklin hits that ball, it doesn't take long to get there. Looks like a penalty against St. Louis.
Illegal procedure. 12 men on the defensive team. The extra point is good. The 5-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Have 12 men on, you still can't stop a point after, huh?
No, they didn't do anything with the 12 men. That happens quite a bit after a goal line situation because they get their extra substitutes in. They usually put in an extra lineman or two and maybe another linebacker. And then on the extra point, they just stay in there and they get 12 guys. It was a great fake here. They had everything going to the inside, and I'm sure that, again, that the team was told, because the thing that you worry about is Wilbert Montgomery went by there. Sometimes if they don't know, they'll grab for the ball, and it can cause a fumble. And as I saw Wilbert Montgomery, he made a good fake. He went and then pulled it over like he had the ball. Look at that time of possession.
That's something. You know, to follow up on that thought, John, there have been times, though, when quarterbacks will go up there and not tell the rest of the team they're going to do something like that.
Right. Look at that foot. You know, he has a callus on that side, right in the front, running from his toe up along to his ankle. And it takes him a while to get that developed each year. I always wanted to see that foot.
Well, you got it now. Roy Green, is he going to bring it out? He is. It might have been a mistake. Well, maybe it isn't. Out to the 15, and Roy Green, well, he got it out to where he would have had it on the touchback, and I think a remarkable job on his part. Richard Blackmore over to make the stop. The Cardinals have the ball at the 20-yard line. Franklin really got into that kickoff. And the Cardinals now tied up in this game 7-7 at the 4:47 mark. Boy, this has been a great series through the years. Last year, as we said, the Eagles winning both of them, but if you look at the scores in those games, it was 16-13 and 24-20. Most of those games, Montgomery had to gain over 100 yards to pull out the win.
He may have to do it today.
Up there's Charlie Johnson firing across. Excellent nose tackle for Philadelphia. He had his best year in '79, playing in the Pro Bowl.
He is an excellent nose tackle. In fact, he's one of the best in the National Football League. But how they can line up right over the ball and jump offside, I still don't know. That one used to drive me crazy as a coach, and I'm sure it's driving Charlie Johnson crazy right now as they mark off 5 yards against him.
Well, you're more relaxed now, though.
I've learned to relax.
Encroachment, number 65, defense, 1st and 5.
I was on the elevator last night at the hotel with Charlie Johnson and Carl Hairston, and the three of us filled that elevator up pretty well.
Yeah, but you lost what? You lost a lot of weight. You're looking great. You can play now.
Those guys filled it up with muscle.
1st and 5, as Referee McCarter is indicating. Here's O.J., and O.J. may have gotten a yard, and that's all. Carl Hairston over there to make the stop.
Yeah, we were talking about Charlie Johnson. Did he do a job on Tom Brahaney on that last play, and that was why there was no place to run. He just straightened him right up. He held the whole thing in the middle and then came off, and he was in on the tackle also.
The Cardinals would like to turn this season around. They've lost 28 of their last 39 games. Mark Arneson said it very well. Don't bury us yet, and I think the Eagles know that they're in a football game today. 2nd down 4. Dino won on that last play. Here's Anderson on the sweep. Gets the block for Morris. Across the 30, and an acceleration cuts the 1st down. Carl Hairston really upset about something down there, but did you see how Anderson kind of put it into overdrive that time?
And he has about 3 or 4 drives. He gets it in one, and then he bursts into another, and I can see what Harrison is complaining about. He's complaining that Dan Jerdorf grabbed him, and that's what those defensive linemen usually do complain about.
I don't think I'd complain about anything Deerdorf did to me.
I guess I wouldn't.
There's your time left. Clock stopped on the out-of-bounds play. Gray's lined up on the wrong side. They still have 13 seconds to snap the ball. First and 10 for the Cardinals. 7-7 our score from Busch Stadium. Hart to Anderson again. Anderson tries to cut it up. And across the 35 to the 36, Lemaster made the stop. Actually, what's happening now, the Cardinals are coming right back now and running basically the kind of offense that Philadelphia was coming out with.
I think so. I think that the Eagles have gotten back to Eagle football to get the score tied, get things back, and then I think they'll probably open up later in this game. And now the Cardinals, I think, are just trying to get good field position. They started on the 20. They'd like to run, get a few first downs, then open things up.
Second down, 7. 3.5 minutes to go till halftime. In motion goes Matt Tilley. Hart with time to throw. Excellent protection. Tilley's open. Tilley to the 44, and that's very close to the first down. Bill Berge over there to make the stop. They're taking Mike Dawson into the dressing room now on a golf cart. Let's look at this play once again.
If the blitzes, we see the linebacker come from the inside. That was picked up real well by the line, which gave Hart time to see and time to wait for his crossing pattern of Tilley.
You see that stickum on Tilley's socks? He used to use that. Guy by the name of Fred Bolitnikoff, he could hardly walk since he had too much stickum on it.
We led the league in stickum. We used more stickum than the rest of the NFL. And the bad thing about it is, after they touch the ball, it has to go out. If you don't, it'll stick to your center's hand.
Hart now 5 of 10 for 52 yards after that first down pitch. And here comes Anderson. Anderson to the 47. And the Cardinals now moving the football as we come close to that 2-minute warning. To get back to that stickum, the thing that I think is interesting about the Eagles is they don't maybe use stickum, but they're starting to use a lot of gloves on their wide receivers.
They use their gloves, and I'm sure that that's probably something that they developed when they were playing in cold weather. The worst thing for a receiver is to have his hands get cold. So it starts then. They probably had some good games, and they just kept doing it.
Gain of 4, second down 6. Hart trying to set up a little screen to Wayne Morris. Morris takes loose at the 45. Morris, excellent run across the midfield stripe to the Eagles' 49-yard line. Frank Lemaster over to make the stop as we have the 2-minute warning. Morris averting a long loss on that play. We're all tied up in this first half of play. One of the coaches for the Philadelphia Eagles is Sid Gilman, and at halftime we'll have a special feature from the NFL Today on the passing game by Sid Gilman. Sid working very closely with Ron Jaworski. What do we have, a problem with the clock out there? What is it?
Well, what they're doing, in the last 2 minutes, you get an opportunity to change captains. And the only people that can call timeouts are the captains. So at the 2-minute warning, the officials go over to the sidelines to each coach, and they ask them, who are your captains in these last 2 minutes? And you make your changes. You like to have someone who would be back, a quarterback, and then a receiver who would be downfield, a defensive lineman in case you get a sack, and a defensive back. So then they all get together and they huddle and they bring the information in and tell each other who can call a timeout in these last 2 minutes. Now they all know, so they're ready to go.
At the 49 now, 3rd down and 3. Theodis Brown is now into the backfield along with Anderson. Tilley, Gray to the bottom of the screen. Jim Hart trying to hit Anderson. A pretty good pressure put on that time by Ken Clark, 71, who came up the middle trying to pressure Hart. As an end result, it brings up 4th down. And so the Cardinals, with a 7-7 lead, will be kicking with Larry Swider. Here comes Jim. With that presentation before the game, they gave him a ball, commemorating the fact that he went over 30,000 yards. And that is an illustrious group, John Madden. Only 7 quarterbacks have ever done that.
Jim Hart is something. He was telling his offensive line there, it's tough to throw with someone hanging on my shoulder.
Here's Swider, who started the year with Detroit. He was on their last cut as he lost his punting job to Tom Skladany. And Now, with 2 seconds, he's going to have to kick it. They just got that ball snapped before the 30-second clock. Going to let it be a fair catch by Wally Henry inside the 15 at the 13-yard line. Down there very quickly was Stafford Mays defending after a 36-yard kick by Schweider. Well, with a minute 42, Jaworski has some time as the football, not the field position he would like to have. Maybe they'll be conservative here. What do you think?
Well, I think they may be conservative, and while they're conservative, try and break one away. I don't know if that makes any sense, but they'll run maybe some running plays, and if they do break it away and get good field position, they'll use their timeout and start to open up. I would be surprised if they would start to open up on the 15-yard line. I think the Eagles really haven't played as well as they can in this first half, and they would feel that maybe not playing as well as they can and being tied 7-7 may not be bad.
They got a slow start Monday night, you recall, against the Giants. Leroy Harris to the 15-yard line. Talk about characteristics of some teams. I'm sure you have teams who are good second-half ball clubs to get off the slow start. That game against New York, things were not going all that well early in the game. They were having some difficulties. Had the Giants held on to some passes, that could have been a much closer game. Smith, Carmichael, the wide receiver. Smith was just spectacular Monday night. 5 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. He was given a game ball. Jaworski on 2nd and 8. Time to throw. Carmichael. And even as tall as he is, he couldn't get up high enough for that one. Tim Collier, also Eric Williams defending on the play. And that brings up a 3rd down.
We'll see this one more time, but that's one thing that receivers don't like. It doesn't make a difference how tall they are. They don't like to have to get up in the air and be exposed to those defensive backs. Carmichael says, I'm 6'8" and I can still catch the ball like regular guys. You don't have to throw it over my head all the time.
When you're 6'8", there's a lot to bring down, isn't there?
There's no fun being in those positions.
You're talking about the Eagles not playing as well as they'd like to. Jaworski's 4 of 12 in this first half, 68 yards and that 1 interception. They went 70 yards the other way. 3rd down 8. Jaworski came in here hitting 68% of his passes. This time broken up and almost intercepted. That was Calvin Fabron, 59, who got a hand on the ball, then tried to go back for it. And now with a minute 2, the Cardinals still had some time to do something.
Now the Cardinals do. You see, they'll get the clock will stop at the change of possession. So the clock is stopped now. It will also stop at the change of possession, and they could have pretty good field goal. They could be pretty close to midfield.
Got to remember one thing, they still haven't kicked a field goal this year. They're 0 for 3. Runninger from the goal line. A minute 2.
Maybe they could try and fake one.
Sneak up on it. Don't tell them they're going to kick it till the last second. Runninger taking a lot of time again. Gets a fine kick. Willard Harrell calls for the fair catch just inside the 45-yard line. And so the Cardinals, with 55 seconds left, and with a guy by the name of Jim Hart, very much a threat to do something yet. That was a 41-yard kick that time by Max Runninger. As Theodis Brown will come into the backfield, Gray, Tilley, the wide receivers, and Jim Hart will also bring in Dave Steep. That means 3 wide receivers now coming in for St. Louis, as they'll really open it up with less than a minute to go.
With 55 seconds and your 3 timeouts remaining, that's plenty of time. He can get a lot of plays off if they're successful plays.
Tom Brahaney to snap the ball. Bostic and Banks, Deardorff, and Brad Oates up front. Hart to Steep. Oh, he hit. Oh, John Bunning unloaded on him at the 49-yard line. Gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down 4. Steep is a little bit shaken up. Also shaken up is one of the Eagles. That's John Bunning, who made that tackle. And so that will stop the clock with 42 seconds. Boy, Steep, good concentration on that play. Bunning, who is a real leader on this team. He called the defensive signals. He was their MVP on defense a year ago, coming back from that severe knee injury.
He was also a real inspiration to Bill Berge, who had the knee injury a year later. I guess that everything that would happen, John Bunning would tell Bill Berge about what to expect and what he had to do. And Bill Berge gives John Bunning a lot of credit for his comeback.
Scores and highlights, the NFL today. I think we should say something today. Our director today, Bob Fishman, usually directs the NFL today in New York. We got him out of the studio, and you know something? He's not bad.
No, he's doing very well, and I'm sure that they miss him in New York, but we're happy to have him here with us today.
Well, that's just a rumor they miss him in New York.
Well, I know they do. See, Jim Hannafin was talking to Jim Hart there, and they're trying to decide what they want to do. But again, they do have plenty of time. They still have 42 seconds, but they have 3 timeouts. And what that means, the fact that they have 3 timeouts, is that they don't have to throw the ball outside or to the sideline. They can still throw it inside and take their timeout.
Jim Hannafin was 47 years old a week ago today. In that Detroit game, they didn't give him a birthday party, and he'd like to win his first one. Bunting is up, and that's good. I tell you, John Bunting and Bill Berge, what courage it's taken for both those men to come back from very, very radical knee surgery. I mean, it was very bad, both those knees. So it's 2nd down and 4 with 42 seconds. At the 49-yard line of Philadelphia now. Recall again with us that Little thus far hasn't kicked a field goal this year. He missed one earlier from 37. Earlier this year, he missed a 35-yarder, a 25-yarder. But in the preseason, he kicked in only one preseason game. He had a 48 and a 41-yarder against the Saints. Then they brought in Roy Girella, made him the punter, and he didn't kick until the regular season.
That's right, and that could be one of his problems. He really hasn't had enough games practice.
Hart, excellent protection. Looks over to Mel Gray, and Gray makes the move. Mel Gray to the 42. That'll be a first down. Gray trying to make big yardage out of it. LeMaster and Logan over to make the stop as the timeout has been called by St. Louis.
There's an exciting player there, Mel Gray, as he and Otis Anderson were going through a little ceremony there. We'll look at this play again. Again, it's a crossing pattern. He starts out. Gray comes underneath and across. Hart sees him, hits him. Watch this little move Gray makes here. They thought he was going to continue to go parallel. He says, nope, I'm going to go up the field. He does, and he gets about an extra 3 or 4 yards.
Statistician Steve Bear indicating that's Gray's first reception for 7 yards. So you can see now it extends his record to 93. Now the Cardinal record is 94.
And
still got a ways to go.
Today's his birthday. Do they play better on their? I don't know. I've gotten into a lot of things, and I had a lot of superstitions, but I do know that today is Mel Gray's birthday, and I don't know if people tend to play better when their wives have children on that day, or children's birthdays or their birthday. I don't know if there's anything to that.
33 seconds left in this first half. That first down grab to the 42-yard line. I was just looking at Steve Little down there, and he is just kind of all by himself, thinking about the fact that he's 0 for 3 and may get a crack at one here. Hart now 8 of 14.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Hart takes a shot at the end zone someplace here.
He has Gray, Tilley to the bottom of the screen, Bell to the top of the screen. 3 wide receivers on the first down. Hart to Tilley, to the 30, to the 25. Now he's going to try to get out of bounds, and he does. That was a very alert play by Tilley. He saw he couldn't get more yardage, so he alertly stopped the clock with 23 seconds.
He went out of bounds. It was also a very alert play by Jim Hart. I was saying I wouldn't be surprised if he went to the end zone. The Eagle defense is playing real deep, and of course it would have been a mistake to do that. He made the great decision here, and a fine adjustment by Tilley.
Well, Roynell Young over to make the tackle. The 5th defensive back now coming in, Blackmore. That was a 14-yard pickup to the 28-yard line, 23 seconds. The Cardinals with 1 timeout left.
They have one. They really have their field goal position now, and so now he can go again and try and get another first down or get it into the end zone.
Again, 3 wide receivers, no tight end. Back to throw. Hart on first down. That is caught Bell. Bell inside the 15 to the 13. The Cardinals are going to use their last timeout. Hart stops the clock with 15 seconds. Now, do you try one more, or you bring in Little at this stage after that 15-yard pickup?
I would try it at least one more time. Now, the thing that you know here is you can try it, but you can't complete one in the field of play or take a sack. You either have to get the ball out of bounds or you have to get it into the end zone. See, that last pass that we just saw here, he could do that as long as he has timeouts remaining. Now that he doesn't have any remaining, he has to get the ball to the sidelines or into the end zone. He can't throw short of the goal line.
Well, Jim Hart's been in this situation so often. 36 years old, his 15th year in the league. As you can see, no timeouts left. Hart hitting Mark Bell, who looks so much like Mel Gray. They're built a lot the same. In fact, Gray and Bell are the two fastest players on this St. Louis team.
Also say that they're the two best conditioned. They gave a stress test, a cardiovascular test, and Bell and Mel Gray received the two highest scores.
Look at Tom Banks. He's trimmed that beard down. He doesn't look quite as mean as he used to.
Well, he knows that he has a job now because the one thing they can't afford is a sack. They can't get a sack here.
All right. 15 seconds left. First down at the 13-yard line. The Cardinals, and as you can see, the Eagles all tied up. And no timeouts remaining. This time they have three wide receivers in. Gray and Tilly to the bottom. Bell to the top. Hart back. Hart's going to be very careful. Tries to hit Bell. And that was Herman Edwards at the 5-yard line. Very, very close with 10 seconds now. Do you try another one yet?
I would try another one, but that was a dangerous pass because had he completed it, then Bell would have to get into the end zone with it. Because if he were tackled, they wouldn't have had time for another play.
Boy, that Herman Edwards can really cover. And that time he was right with Bell as he made the crossing pattern. Willard Harrell comes in. Anderson checks out of the backfield, and they're going yet another time. I guess when your field goal kicker's having trouble, you're going to try to get it in your own way.
I think I would do that anyway. I'd take one more shot at it, and of course, if it's complete, you're happy. If not, you can kick the field goal. The Eagles don't get the ball back.
Again, Bell to the top. Gray and Tilly to the bottom. Back to throw. Hart. Hart has it broken up. His intended receiver was Gray, but he was double covered. That was Claude Humphrey who broke the play up. And here comes little Naboo Birds are out before he even tries it. You talk about pressure. Little right now is not the most popular man in St. Louis. He's 0 for 3. He missed a 25-yarder last week. This is going to be a 31-yard field goal attempt.
I think if he just put all those misses out of his mind, just stand up there and kick it, it'd probably go right through.
Worley to hold, 31 yards away. Little's kick is up. It's good, and Little has hit his first field goal of 1980, and the crowd's on their feet here at Busch Stadium. Well, that could break the ice for him. That might be the confidence builder that the #1 draft pick from Arkansas needs, as the Cardinals now lead at 10-7 with 2 seconds left in this first half. I would imagine that Little stood back there and had peanut butter in his throat.
Well, you know, he probably did while he was standing there and watching that drive the whole time. But then as Jim Hart would complete one and then another one, he was probably feeling better about it all the time because, I'll tell you, Jim Hart and the offense of the Cardinals did a nice job on that drive of getting the ball closer to the goal line.
42-yard drive and 7 plays, took only 53 seconds. Again, showing you how much they did with that time.
That's right. When you have that much time plus your 3 timeouts, that's plenty of time to get the ball 50 yards.
Very interesting drive. As you looked at the deep man, Wally Henry standing at the 5. Little to kickoff, and boy, he must be relieved. This kickoff kind of a funny knuckleball affair. Henry's going to bring it out, though, to the 10. This will be the last play of the first half. And Henry's still on his feet to the 20-yard line. He fumbles the ball. But as we said, there's no time remaining. And so a most interesting first half of play here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals looking for their first win of the year, trying to pick it up at the crowd here in Busch Memorial Stadium, and eagerly awaiting the second half of this game, which finds the Cardinals leading 10-7. John, interestingly enough, that's the most points that's been scored against the Eagles thus far in this season. The stats aren't really that impressive, are they?
No, but the things that are impressive is, one, the way the Cardinal defense is playing. You know, the Eagles haven't been able to get on track yet, and the reason for that is because the way the Cardinal defense is playing. You see, they really haven't done anything. They haven't got into the pattern of offense that they've known or the pattern of offense that they would like to be.
I think, interestingly enough, as you look at the yards rushing, no one this year has rushed for 100 yards against the Eagles. The most was 93 yards in a game earlier this year. So the Cardinals established somewhat of a running game with 55 yards. But I think what's interesting about this game is what we said at the top of this show. The Cardinals are 0-3, but they're really not an 0-3 football team.
No, and they felt that maybe they had to play a team like the Eagles that are a good team. Maybe they had to play that type of team to get going. You know, they started out their first 3 games with teams that they thought they would beat, teams that they were supposed to beat, and they didn't. And they thought, well, maybe the opposite is true. Maybe if we play someone that's supposed to be better, that we're not supposed to beat, maybe we can change it.
Well, Steve Little, who broke a string of 0 for 3 in the field goal kicking department, will kick off to start the second half. He hit his first one of 1980 with 2 seconds left in the first half from 31 yards out. 10-7. St. Louis with the lead. Back deep, Wally Henry. Boy, this series has been a dandy, and today's no exception. While the stats aren't that impressive, the hitting has been, and a very entertaining game from the standpoint of strategy. Especially that last drive where the Cardinals, with no timeouts left, still trying to go for the touchdown, then settling for the three-pointer. Little is ready, and he hits it very well. Wally Henry at the goal line. Henry to the 10, 15. He's out to the 20, and the UCLA alumnus brings it out to the 25. Making the stop, John Bearfield has been excellent on their special teams today for the St. Louis Cardinals. From the 25, the Eagles will set it up. Today, the Eagles have a tough road to hoe, John. Starting Monday night, they play 5 straight teams in that Eastern Conference. Buffalo leading Oakland. Hey, how about that one?
I think Buffalo just beat Oakland 24-7. There's an improved team. The Buffalo Bills, they're undefeated.
4-0. Oakland with a big win last week over Washington. Who, by the way, the Eagles' opponent next Sunday. Here's Montgomery. He's hit hard by Carney. Carney just straightened him up, and Carney, who was shaken up in that first half, is back, I would say, wouldn't you?
He is back, and that was the thing that impressed me in the first half is the way this Cardinals defense has played. They've really been swarming, they run, they rush the passer pretty well. They've had good pass coverage. The big thing was the interception, of course, that got him their first touchdown.
You're looking at that defensive score. Tim Collier, Carl Allen is in there. Worley is not back in. He was shaken up in the first half. He is not starting the second half of play. So Allen, who has the big interception of some 70 yards in as we start the second half. Jaworski on a line to Charlie Smith, picked up by Ken Green. Green with the interception to the 40, 35, 30, and Ken Green is dropped. There's a flag back at the 48-yard line. Dan Walters made the stop. I suspect it might go against St. Louis because Tim Collier is really upset about something.
Looks like it was really a bad throw by Ron Jaworski because the Green was sitting there in the middle. It looks like he gives a pump, you see, which didn't take Green off. Green just stood there and waited and come in and made the interception.
The penalty is going to go against St. Louis. Boy, what a big break for Philadelphia on this play. Ken Green with a very big move. That was an excellent play on his part. And so we're going to have yardage stepped off against St. Louis.
Well, it's a big break for Philadelphia, but St. Louis still has the ball. The field position won't be as good. I'm sure it was a penalty after.
Flipping number 44 during the return.
Yeah, that's Collier. Right, it was after the interception, so the Cardinals maintained possession.
For a moment, I thought maybe they had pass interference on that play. But instead it is, as you said, a penalty after the interception. So the interception stands at the 33-yard line. Second interception of the game. Here's Anderson, touch to the 40, 45, and he was close to breaking that one. Anderson to the 49-yard line, and that was one man away from being a touchdown. 15-yard run. Randy Logan, the strong safety, was able to drop him there. Anderson shaken up on that play.
Looks like again, but watch this burst here, the way he takes off. And when he plants that right foot to cut back, that thing is going right to the goalpost. That's the big thing. A lot of running backs can go right and left. But when a guy can take it, turn those shoulders, get up to the goal line.
69 yards. He comes out of the game. Coming in is Willard Harrell. This is Wayne Morris. Morris wrapped up by Carl Hairston as he advances to the 45-yard line. Gain of 5 on that play. It'll be second and 5. Anderson will come back in.
Otis Anderson has a bad shoulder, and again, sometimes you get it bumped and then you come right back and it's okay. He just stayed out one play, and he's back in there.
Boy, you can see how dangerous he is. Both these teams with dangerous running backs in Montgomery and Anderson. From the 45, second down, 5 yards to go. 10-7, the Cardinals with the lead as we start the second half of play. This is Anderson again. He cuts back, and he is far enough for the first down to the 40-yard line. And again, he's taking a page out of Montgomery's book right now. Good cutback running on his part.
Great running backs can fall for 3 or 4 extra yards as we watch tackle number 72, Deerdorf here, Dan Deerdorf. Watch how strong and big he is. He just fires into Dennis Harrison, gets him turned, and puts him down. That's offensive line blocking the way it should be. That's what it's all about.
John, you speak of courage. He's coming back from a very severe knee injury and playing like the all-pro that he's been. Anderson now 74 yards on 15 carries from the 40. First down, St. Louis. Tilley and Gray to the bottom of the screen. Wayne Morris, and Morris moves that pile to the 35-yard line. And right now, St. Louis is really moving the football. Very impressive movement up front by that offensive line, kind of the way they started this game. And that was running right at Philadelphia.
And that always gives your whole team confidence. It makes everyone feel well. The linemen can fire out the way they want to, and the backs run the holes. As we look here at another final, Los Angeles 28, Giants 7.
So the Rams, after losing their first 2, have won the last 2. The Giants, after winning the first, have lost 3 in a row. Second down, 6. With the Eagles offside, there's flags, and Anderson's dropped. Coming up with Charlie Johnson, number 65. But it looked like maybe the Eagles jumped off, whether they were drawn off or not.
It looked like Charlie Johnson jumped again, the nose tackle who lines up over the ball. We'll see this again. Again, sometimes you see, yeah, he did move. He moved before the ball was snapped. Sometimes instead of watching the ball, they listen to the inflection of the quarterback's voice, and that's where they get in trouble. That's the second time that Charlie Johnson jumped off sides today.
It's interesting. St. Louis with only 1 penalty thus far.
Really, 4 penalties, 35 yards, 1 for 10. That's very little penalties. Very few penalties.
Offside, number 65, defense, repeat second down.
I would imagine you never coached a game, though, where you thought they hadn't penalized you enough.
No, I never.
The penalty makes it second down. A yard to go. It's an interesting down here. Second down, short yardage. Would he throw it or would he go for the first down?
Good down to throw it.
Going to go for it. Anderson has it. And then some. Close to the 25. Boy, is he running with some authority and some very good intelligence on his part as he uses the blocks and kind of dips and darts in there. First down.
Maybe there's something to that Otis Anderson always plays his best when there's another great running back on the other side.
Boy, did he play his best last year, John. 9 100-yard days, 1,605 yards, a rookie record. He has 80 yards now on 16 carries. His best, as we said earlier, was 85 yards against the Giants in the first game. The 25, Wayne Morris, and the SMU product to the 22-yard line. Nothing fancy right now. They just keep moving up. That'll bring up.
I'll tell you where the big thing in this game, the big difference in this game is that the Cardinal offensive line is really handling, on both run and pass, is handling the Eagle defensive line.
10 minutes, 15 seconds. Cardinals moving this football, eating up some time. Mel Gray, Tilley to the bottom of the screen. Second down, 8 yards to go for St. Louis, who leads it 10-7. Jim Hart to Anderson. Anderson behind Morris's block. Very close to the first down as he's to the vicinity of the 16. Bernard Wilson over there cutting down the free safety, who has 2 interceptions this year for Philadelphia. Again, a look at the offense of St. Louis.
Watch him take off here and get movement. You see, there's no penetration there by the Eagle defense. No one gets into the backfield, so the line is handling the line of scrimmage, which is allowing the running back to get to it and then break away from it.
Third down, a yard to go. Gray, Tilley to the top of the screen this time. 9:23 on the clock. Anderson, Wayne Morris in the I-back. Anderson kind of backing in this time. I don't think he got the first down.
There was no cutback on that one. The inside linebacker penetrated, and there was no cutback there.
Well, the crowd wanting him to go for it. They bring in another tight end. Chris Combs comes in. There's the final, and Pittsburgh, I think they might have been a little angry today after last week.
They were angry, and that's what happens when they get angry, 38-3. They may lose one once in a while, but that next week they come back tough as ever.
Or Chicago. They had Cliff Stout playing a lot of that game because Pittsburgh jumped up to such a big lead.
This is a big down in this game. Fourth down. This is a big situation in this game.
Two tight ends are in. Also, Rod Phillips is in. That is Phillips in motion. A give to Anderson. He got it. Anderson taking it over the top on a fourth and less than a yard, and the Cardinals keep it going. Let's isolate on 32.
We'll see here again that this is something, they get a little movement there. Anderson does the rest himself by jumping over the whole pile.
Both these teams, John, have been able to convert 4th and 1. Remember, the Eagles on the goal line took theirs in.
They did. The bootleg for the touchdown by Ron Jaworski, and this one gives the Cardinals possession of the ball. They maintain it. They probably get some type of score here.
Boy, they're taking a lot of time on this drive. Now 8 minutes showing on the clock. From the 14.5-yard line, there's a reverse action to Anderson. Breaks the tackle to 10. 5. He is in for the touchdown. Otis Anderson goes to the extreme corner, just inside the pylon, takes it in. He now has 103 yards for the day, and the Cardinals have jumped to a 16-7 lead.
That was a great call by Jim Hart. You know what this is? This is the old Statue of Liberty play. I haven't seen this for a long time, but he starts, he fakes back, goes back like it's a draw or a pass, and hands off to Otis Anderson around the end. That was a great call and a great play.
Boy, he just got loose from John Budding, who tried to make a diving tackle, and then it was all over. Steve Little, point after. It's good. And the Cardinals lead it 17-7 with 7:51 to go in the third quarter. An impressive drive by the Cardinals, who mount this advantage of 10 points. Let's look at this touchdown run by Anderson a moment ago.
It's a halfback statue or reverse play. They started action to the left or weak side. Otis Anderson started, came back around the end. The only one that didn't fool was John Bunting, and he missed the tackle.
There's how long that drive took, 6 minutes and 10 seconds. With that run, 14 yards, Anderson 103 for the day. That's going to go out of bounds. That'll be a 5-yard penalty, and they'll bring it back. So Anderson, playing with that bad shoulder, certainly hasn't been slowed, and Detroit is 4-0. They may run away with that Central Division. Chicago losing today, Minnesota losing today, Green Bay playing Dallas. They're going to have such a lead on that division. Well, they're really going, aren't they?
Tampa Bay is still there.
Yeah.
And, you know, last year Tampa Bay went from last to first, and that could very well happen again this year from last to first with the Detroit Lions.
We watched films getting ready for this game between Detroit and St. Louis, and we saw a lot of things about that Lion team that impressed us. Look at Green Bay. That's in Milwaukee, trailing the Cowboys now, 14-7. Packers last week were in that game early with Los Angeles. Then they threw that 99-yard interception, and everything came apart at the seams. Little kicking off. Wally Henry at the 1. 15, and he's going to try to go wide, and he brings it out to the 25, and a big hit put on there. Coming over was Ken Stone, number 23, and also John Bearfield. And I'll say it again, Bearfield has been roaming all over this field. You're looking at him. That is Bearfield, 58. He's been all over the place on punts and kickoffs.
That's another area that has been impressive today with the St. Louis Cardinals, and that's the area of the special teams, their coverage and their return. One thing that Jim Hannafin said when he came to the Cardinals that he wanted to improve was the special teams, and what he was really talking about was the coverage teams, the kickoff coverage and the punt coverage.
From the 25. The Eagles playing catch-up football, trailing by 10. 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Jaworski to Montgomery. Montgomery to the 30. That's close to a 5-yard pickup. We mentioned earlier that O.J. Anderson went over 100 yards. That's his 10th career 100-yard game. That's a new Cardinal record. He broke the record of Jim Otis, who was in this booth a while ago, the former fullback for the football Cardinals.
I wonder if Jim Hannafin will change his mind about not running Otis Anderson as much as they did last year. It looks like he may be getting back into that thing, and that's not bad.
He's already got 20 carries, John, and we've got a quarter and a half to go. There's Leroy Harris and a brick wall led by Bill Acker, number 67. He's playing in place of the injured Mike Dawson. Acker is from Frere, Texas. The reason I bring that up is he grew up in that town with Steve McMichael, who's also playing with the New England Patriots. Both of them made the NFL, and Frere, Texas has a population of 3,000. Percentages of that happening are not very good.
They do a nice job of producing some football players, though.
3rd down and 5 from the 30-yard line. Receivers, 3 of them split out on this particular play. Giamona in the backfield on a 3rd and 5. Jaworski intended for Giamona. Defending on the play was Calvin Favron. I'd like to look at that one again. I'm not real sure I know what happened.
It looked like it hit him right in the head. Like the ball went through his hands and hit him right in the head. But again, the Cardinals were putting on good pressure and they had good coverage, and the ball did hit him in the head.
That's kind of embarrassing.
That is. That's a tough place to have to take it. He's standing there now in the punt coverage with his hands on his hips, number 33.
Jaworski now, by the way, is 4 of 15 in this game, 68 yards. Runninger to kick on 4th down. Harrell back deep for St. Louis. 6 minutes, 15 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. 17-7. The Cardinals with the lead. We've got some mix-ups. Now Shira running in. He was flanked out. They're getting everybody in tight. They anticipate a big rush here, evidently. And they're getting one. Runninger gets it underway. We have a flag roughing the kicker. Harrell lets it hit. But that's academic because the Eagles are going to have the football, a 1st down. The Eagles will have the football 1st down, either running into the kicker or roughing the kicker. Makes no difference either way. Both of them are 1st down.
Both are automatic 1st down. Roughing would be a 15-yard penalty. Running in would be a 5-yard penalty. And I'm not sure that there was either on that play.
Let's look at it.
Could be a big turning point here. He gets the ball away. Now he can't be touched. So if after he kicks the ball, if he were touched, then that'll be a 5-yard penalty.
That's Lee Nelson. I wonder, Bob Fishman, our director, if we could look one more time at that, because it's hard to tell. Looks like he just hit the end of his foot.
Running into the kicker, number 38, defense, 1st down.
Well, look, they gave it.
Well, look at it again, John. Boy, I don't know.
I don't know. It's very difficult from that angle. Either he was hit or it was a great acting job.
He's a thespian, I believe. Well, anyway, he was on top of it. It was a 5-yarder, but an automatic 1st down. Jaworski over the middle. Carmichael, he's open to the 40, to the 38-yard line of St. Louis. Roy Green catches up, and I don't need to tell you that roughing the kicker has put Philadelphia right back in this. 27-yard completion. Carmichael striking in a hurry, and boy, do I love to watch that guy play football.
It has, the one thing about him that always amazed me is that he's 6'8", but the way anyone that tall can make cuts. I always had the feeling that a long-legged person could not make sharp cuts, and Harold Carmichael proved that I wasn't right.
You can throw the book away on him, right? And firing off is Bill Acker. That's the young rookie we mentioned, the 6th-round draft pick. They were saying that Acker plays with the heart of an Arabian stallion because he loves to play this game and makes up for some lack of ability. It'll be offside against St. Louis. Well, the Cardinals really had the upper hand, John. They'd taken it in for a score, and they had him on a 4th down, and all of a sudden roughing or running into the kicker. And the Eagles are back in it.
And we were just saying how much their special teams improved.
Number 67, defense, 1st and 5.
Montreal and Philadelphia. Boy, the city of Philadelphia's got a lot to be proud of. Houston leading Cincinnati. Baltimore just ahead of Cleveland. They can't afford to lose another one. 1st down, 5 after the encroachment penalty. In motion, that's Charlie Smith. We haven't heard from him today after 5 catches Monday night. Here he's going to get one maybe. Nope. From behind, Arneson. The ball is fumbled. Who has it? Mark Arneson hit him from the blind side. The scramble is still on. Harris has the football. Leroy Harris runs out of the pile. I think the Eagles still have the ball.
I don't think they're going to give him a fumble on that. What the rule is, if the quarterback is in a throwing motion and his arm's going forward and he's hit, it's a fumble. It's an incomplete pass. If the ball is up and it's not in a throwing motion, then it's a fumble. So we'll see it again right here. Now,
that was a fumble.
That should have been a fumble.
And it was, John. They moved the ball back out to the 40. They lost a yard, but, you know, it was very difficult to see who had, in fact, gotten away with that football after it hit the ground. That replay really showed that he did not have that arm up. Jaworski back again. Gets it off to Montgomery. Montgomery has a block, but look at him crawl inside the 40. Good second effort on Montgomery's part. Woody Peoples was out there throwing a block, the 37-year-old youngster. And it's going to come to a third down. Boy, the crowd here not very happy right now, as you might suspect, but a third down coming up. Let's go back to that previous play. Let's see if he was. No, he wasn't passing at all.
Well, he wasn't, and the ball's down there. It's a fumble. Now, Ron Jaworski probably recovered it there.
Now, let's watch. Leroy Harris came out of there with it, but I think that was after everything had been decided. Tough to see. Third down, 10 yards to go. Jaworski to Montgomery. Montgomery to the 35. Wrestled down there and belted very hard, and the Cardinals are fired up. Bob Pollard over there. And so fourth down now. There's the final. Houston, you said they'd come back, and they did.
Yep.
After that first loss to Pittsburgh, the Snake kept that team going, hasn't he?
He sure has. And I'll tell you one thing that's keeping these Cardinals going today is the swarming of that defense. They're getting 6, 7, 8 tacklers in on every run, on every play. It's not just 1 or 2. They're getting the defense there in bunches.
Hey, look, they're going to fake this. They're going to run it. On this fourth down, they're going to run it. Shira's in at quarterback. He's going to try to run it. He didn't get it. Rod Phillips is over there, and you talk about a quick change. Runninger was standing back there. Shira, who can play quarterback, came racing up, took the snap from center, and give credit to the Cardinals. They reacted that quickly.
Give credit to the special teams because they didn't have a regular defensive team in there. That was their punt return team. So to make an adjustment on a punt return team is something special.
And so the Cardinals take over at their own 35-yard line. Well, Dick Vermeil trying to surprise the Cardinals with that fake punt, gained only 1 yard. He's not very happy right now.
No, he's really upset. I noticed before the first half ended, he was upset. And now he looks like he's still that way because, you know, he's 3-0, and the one thing that he talked about all week is not having a letdown. It doesn't mean anything. It's how we finish. We can't have peaks and valleys, and he probably feels now that they may be in a valley.
But you got to give some credit to St. Louis.
A lot of credit.
From the 35, first down. Gray, Tilley, the wide receivers. Wayne Morris, and Morris close to the 40-yard line. What about a short week, John? You coach teams, and you had that short week to get ready. How tough is it?
I always like to have a short week because it gave me an opportunity to complain. I would say it's unfair. We can't do it. I don't know. You know, we need sacrifice and dedication. But the players were much more attentive, and they seemed to have more concentration and work harder during the short week. We always played better.
See that? Tampa Bay's getting beat today. Second down and 6. Hart to Anderson. Anderson looking for the block. Across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Anderson already over 100 yards for this day. So out to the 42. I think it shows you again the balance in this NFC. Here is Dallas now with a 21-7 lead. Even though Philadelphia in the first 3 games dominated everybody, and they're playing a team that hasn't won a game. That's Anderson who's shaken up on the play. They come in here today, and they're trailing by 10 points. Great equity here in the National Football League. Well, Anderson is down on his back, but what a game. Look at those stats, would you? Almost, well, over 5-yard average thus far. Anderson just kind of taking it easy. He's been hurt a couple of times today. He's had that bad shoulder. Been playing hurt most of the year for that matter, and he's up now and looks like it's going to be all right.
I hope so. That's one thing that the Cardinals couldn't afford is an injury to Otis Anderson. He's a great player. He's one of the players that can dominate a game. There are about 10 or 12 of them in the National Football League. He's only a second-year man, but he's a player, as we see today, that can dominate a game.
Looks like he might be having a little trouble with the back. At the 42.5-yard line, Willard Harrell now comes in to replace him. The Cardinals have a 3rd down 2. Hart thus far is 10 of 18 for 97 yards. And he's going up on top again. He can find somebody, and he does. Pat Tilley, first down. Good job by Hart. I think something interesting here. You told me, John, you never had a quarterback that could run. That's not really necessary. He can just do what Hart did there.
Right as we see right here, he doesn't have to be able to run. He has to be able to step around or away from a rush. You see how Jim Hart comes out here? Just to buy a little more time to find a receiver. A quarterback doesn't have to run and scramble and pick up 10, 12, 15 yards. If he can just move enough to get away from a rush, that's all he has to do.
Tilley now 5 catches, 68 yards, has an 11-yard completion to the 46-yard line. Tilley and Gray, the top of the screen. Wayne Morris makes the cut. He's inside the 45 to the 43. Frank LeMaster's made a lot of tackles in this game. Does so on this play. Brings up a 2nd down. The thing that I like about Tilley on that last play is he knows when his quarterback's in trouble, and he always seemingly gets open.
He does, and then you feel that Jim Hart has the confidence in him that he will get open. I know Stabler used to always do that with Fred Blitnikoff. When anything would break down, he looked like he looked right to Tilley right now, try and find him.
2nd and 7 for the Cardinals, who lead it 17-7, 1:10 to go, 3rd quarter. Willard Harrell. Harrell in there in place of Anderson. That's to the 38-yard line. LeMaster again on the stop for Philadelphia. LeMaster, a man who Dick Vermeil says when he gets the consistency at that position will be just that much better. Led the team in tackles a year ago, and that time making the stop. And they're about 1.5 yards short of a 1st down. And a 3rd down coming up. And you can see St. Louis is at 50% in that category. Gray, Tilley to the top of the screen. The Cardinals have had the football a lot in this 3rd quarter. One drive taking over 6 minutes. Harrell again. Did he get the 1st down? He may not have. Reggie Wilkes in there. One thing about Philadelphia, they play a lot of players on defense. Wilkes is a good example of that. They keep everyone involved, and Marion Campbell was telling us before the game that they have a lot of different kinds of defensive teams that they send in.
They do. They have 4. They have a 1st down defense. They have a nickel package, he says, which is the passing down defense. They have a short yardage defense, and they have a goal line defense. All different people. And the thing that he said that he likes about it is it keeps all the players interested in the meetings, in the game, in practice, in all situations.
You can see it's 4th down.
Why don't those referees just say 4th down? Why do they have to get the crowd excited by showing how much there is to go for the 1st? They don't do it if it's 1st down. They don't say this much or 2nd this much. But it's always 4th down. They always show you how much they have to go.
You don't appreciate those guys. I get the feeling.
4th and inches. Well, some of them out. They don't have to excite your crowd because they give you that and the crowd all says go for it. And if you put in your kicking team, they boo you.
You really don't like officials, do you?
Well, no, I do. I respect them. I kid a lot about it, but that's one thing that I never did. I used to tell them, if it's 4th down, just tell me 4th down, but don't give me that how far we have to go. I know how far we have to go.
Don't you have a play for 6 inches and 8 inches?
Yeah, but it excites the crowd.
That's going to be the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, the Cardinals 17, the Eagles 7. Well, elsewhere out west, Atlanta leading San Francisco. Now the 49ers, I'm sure, aware that the Rams won today. And Baltimore and the Jets still haven't won a game this year. Baltimore's played a tough schedule, haven't they?
They sure have.
The 36-yard line. They played Pittsburgh down to the wire before losing. Here we go. 4th down. O.J. is back in the game. Anderson in. 4th down. Less than a yard to go. Everybody in tight. Here's Anderson trying to give ground. LeMaster's over there, and what an effort. He's going to break it. Anderson's going to take it for the touchdown. 36 yards. And Anderson, just a great individual effort on his part.
You don't think that's a great athlete? He started out there. There was nothing there, so he waited for a while, just cut back and made a great burst. What an athlete. We were saying that there's some players in the league that can dominate a game. We're watching one right here.
He got a block from Rod Phillips, number 36 on that play, too. You know, you talked about 5 touchdown quarterbacks. You're going to have to get a label for running backs like this.
A running back that can dominate a game in the National Football League.
Boy, he just did a super job as Steve Little adds the point after. 24-7. Anderson now has 144 yards on 22 carries. The Cardinals trying to get on the winning side. Well, a 37-yard romp capped that drive of 65 yards. Steve Little kicking off 24-7. Remember now, the Eagles coming into this game had given up only 16 points in the 3 previous games. Perry Harrington, the rookie from Jackson State, he's got some running room. 30, out to the 35, the 40, and he's going to bring it out to the 44-yard line. John Bearfield made the stop. I'll tell you one thing, if you look at Dick Vermeil, the Eagles aren't giving up in this one. 14:37 left, and Jaworski's going to be putting the ball up. Final, Miami, New Orleans now 0-4, and that's a pretty good football team to go 0-4. 30-yard return that time by Harrington. And so St. Louis, getting a remarkable effort from Otis Anderson, has really put the ball in Philadelphia's court. They have their backs to the wall. Smith, Carmichael, the top of the screen. Now Montgomery is flanked out to the bottom of the screen. Harris, the only set running back. First down from the 44. Here comes Jaworski. He has time. Now being chased by Jankowski. Tries to hit Harris. Jankowski storming up there. Tim Carney defending on the pass. As Dick Vermeil needs a big play. They need to strike here with 14.5 minutes left. Trailing 24-7. They trailed at halftime 10-7. Time in possession. That surprises me. Very close,
but again, you know, that play that Otis Anderson ran was a 4th down play, and what a big play it was, because 7 points added there in the 4th quarter makes Philadelphia play this quarter in a different manner, as we saw by that first play, that they opened up the offense, and it looks like they'll start passing on most of their downs from here on out.
Montgomery and Harris behind Jaworski on a 2nd down 10. And Charlie Smith makes a fine catch at the 31-yard line. That was a tough catch. Tim Collier defending on the play, and just like that, 25 yards and a first down for this Philadelphia team. Carl Allen and Tim Collier remain in at quarterback. Worley has not returned since being shaken up in the first half.
Again, and that may be dangerous if Philadelphia does start coming out and throwing every play. They were trying to run and mix up things and get in short yardage. Now they're behind. Now they have to do it, and they do it pretty well.
Jaworski now 7 of 19, 120 yards, 2 interceptions. Nobody behind him there as he gives off to Montgomery. Montgomery with Steve Neal right alongside him. That would have picked up 4 or 5 yards.
It would have.
2nd down.
And it wasn't a bad call. Wilbert Montgomery was out on this side as a wide receiver, and they were playing off him very deep. So he just ran about a 4 or 5 yard hook, and again couldn't handle the ball. But it was a good call.
A lot of changes defensively now for St. Louis. Williams, Carney come out of there along with Bill Acker.
They go to their 5 defensive backs.
Lee Nelson's in there in the backfield. Ken Stone, Collier, and Allen. That's the 4 men they have in. In effect, they have all cornerbacks in there now, no safety. 2nd down 10 to Montgomery. Montgomery to the 25, to the 23, a flag on the play. Kind of crossed him up a little bit on that. I don't think St. Louis expected that running play, but it looks like it's going to come back.
Looks like an offensive holding penalty. That fellow that was the last official that I ever yelled at just threw the flag.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Defensive holding.
It's against the defense here. But again, you know, when you have a back like Wilbert Montgomery, you can get in those long situations, and he's still a big enough threat that he can carry the ball and gain that yardage for you, that you don't have to pass all the time when you get in passing formations. And that's one of the strengths of the Eagle offense.
Well, that would give them a first down if it is defensive holding. Now, wait a minute. I think we're a little mixed up here.
The penalty is against number 76, offense, illegal use of hands.
He motioned the wrong way is what he did.
We were right the first time.
So your point picking on that official now was right. I was thinking maybe you were just picking on him. But
you know,
had a reason.
no, they never did listen to me, and maybe sometimes they should. It's not bad. But again, that's a big drive stopper. You know, it looked like the Eagles, they completed the ball to Smith. They got a little run going to Montgomery. They were just starting to get something going, and then they get the penalty. A great drive stopper.
Defense, repeat second down.
You said that was 76, didn't he?
Yeah,
Gary
70.
Sizemore is the man that was holding. And so the ball out to the 42-yard line. Second down now and 20. Time will start being very important in this game. 13:40 remaining. The Cardinals with a 24-7 lead. I'm sure people around the NFL, this is raising a few eyebrows as they look at the score being posted in other ballparks. Jaworski back on 2nd and 20, steps up, hits Carmichael. He made the catch too, and that's almost a first down. Boy, did he rifle that one. Tim Collier made the stop, and 2 fine pass completions to both Smith and now Carmichael on this drive.
It was a fine catch. You know, they talk about going to the inside here. Watch that move that Carmichael makes, get in the way. That's a defensive line move. Come inside. This ball is really thrown in a crowd, but Carmichael is a big target in a crowd, and he pays for it when he catches it.
Collier in on the stop, 19-yard gain to the 22, and the Eagles are not dead yet. They are fighting back, and you would expect that from the Dick Vermeil team.
You know, it's the 4th quarter, and I really don't have the feeling that the Eagles have gotten on track yet.
Third down, less than a yard to go. Interesting to see if they go up on top on this one. Nope, they're going to go for the first down. Harris has it. Harris to the 15, to the 12. First down, Philadelphia. Ken Green able to bulldog him down, and the Eagles now are moving. Changes defensively. Carney coming out. Favron comes in. Rush Brown will also come in. He's the rookie, 26-year-old rookie from Ball State. It's like Carney's still having trouble with that arm.
That arm or shoulder. Usually when they hold the hand or arm in close tight to the body, it's usually a shoulder. The Cardinals are having a problem now whether to gang up and defend the run or the pass.
On this particular play, they have one running back. That's Montgomery. They took Harris out. Jaworski back on a first down. Hits Krefley, the tight end, and Krefley's forward progress to the 9-yard line. So Jaworski is out filling the air with footballs as Green and Steve Neal's over to make the stop. Pick up a 3, maybe 4 yards, brings up second. There's Krefley. Look at that average, 18.5 out of Iowa State. 41 catches a year ago. That's Spagnola, his backup, going off the field. And Dick Vermeil would like to get his team on the board right now.
And I think he would like to get it on as quickly as possible because he has a few more that he has to get after this one, if in fact he does get one.
Just a couple. 11:20 left in the game. Jaworski off to Montgomery. Montgomery breaks one tackle, but he couldn't shake Steve Neal, who stayed with him. Neal's very gritty, determined player on that particular play.
He played that very well. It was a misdirection play. They started out to the left and came back to Neal's side. Most times, a linebacker will start to slow and leave his position. Neal didn't. He stayed right there. He was in good position and made the tackle. Very good discipline.
There's a third down, and you see St. Louis and Philadelphia's conversion factor. They have a 3rd and 5. Montgomery now has 73 yards on 18 carries. So we'll come back with this timeout at the 10:49 mark. Eagles with a lot of catching up to do. Well, Dick Vermeil hoping he sent in the right play on this 3rd and 5. Ron Jaworski returning to the huddle with 10:49 left in the game. His team trailing 24-7. John, you made a point. They're taking an awful lot of time on this drive because they have a lot of drives to make. There's the completions on Ron. 2 big interceptions. One of them for a 70-yard touchdown. From the 7-yard line, Carmichael in motion. Jaworski looking. Nobody open. He gets rid of it. Intercepted by Collier. Tim Collier picks it off. Over there was Charlie Smith, the intended receiver. Jaworski trying to find somebody open. The third interception of the day.
He was trying to find Harold Carmichael open. Carmichael started from the outside in motion. He's coming into the inside. He was really covered very well.
We'll return to Bush Memorial Stadium after this word from your local station.
You were so right. The gap is widening in that Central Division, but again, there's a lot of time. You know, there's only played 4 games, 12 to go.
And that's what we were pointing out about this conference. What can happen? Jaworski back on first down, pressure by Pollard. He disguised it well. Montgomery with the catch. Good effort on his part. He got away from Eric Williams. As trying to disguise that play, as Montgomery shaken up on the play, was Jaworski looking one way and throwing the other.
You know, this Cardinal defense is really scrambling today, and when you have that type of thing, you can afford a missed tackle. As we see here, it's a screen. He runs a fake off a running play, drops back, gets it out to Montgomery. So you get a miss right here, but there's still a lot of white shirts over there that are coming, and they're really doing an excellent job of tackling today, the St. Louis Cardinals.
That was Mark Arneson, is that guy that Jim Hannafin pinpointed as playing the best at linebacker for him. Montgomery shaken up for the second time in this game.
And there's a player that the Eagles could ill afford to lose. I think that with their offense, Wilbert Montgomery plays such a big part, because you get to the point again, when you play the Eagles, you don't know whether you defend the run or the pass, because they can do both equally as well.
We'll be back in just a moment. Well, there's the story, a surprising story here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Cardinals leading 24-7. Jim Hannafin talking to his troops, and I believe much happier man than, well, he has to be happier, and he's been in the first 3 weeks. Montgomery shaken up on that last play, and they're still looking him over, helped him over to the bench. Hope he's all right. And from the 45 of St. Louis, it's 2nd down and 4. Louis Giamona in the backfield, replacing Wilbert Montgomery. This is Giamona, and Giamona gets close to the 40, close to the first down, in the vicinity of the 41-yard line. He may have gotten the first down.
I think what the Eagles are doing, Gary, is they're trying to set up some formations here to see if they can go after a quick one in a running down. That time they had 2 tight ends, in which they still have 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and only 1 running back. And I think they want to see, you know, what they can do passing with that. And we'll probably see it on this play. It's the same formation.
Baltimore now the 14-0 lead over the Jets. First down at the 41-yard line as Giamona just got it with a good second effort. Play action this time. Jaworski to Spagnola, the big tight end, and that'll be another first down as he is wrestled out at the 23-yard line. One of the officials hitting the deck on the far side.
This is the formation that we see here. The play before, they had run the ball at Giamona. That time they faked to him, and they got Spagnola on an out to the left side. That's probably what they saw on the down before. They wanted to run the ball, see what they could find passing-wise, feel that they could hit a tight end with it.
So with that catch, Spagnola now with 6 for the year. He's the young man that was drafted by New England and picked up as a free agent. It really been an addition. San Diego has won all their games. Kansas City hasn't won one yet, and they're leading. The Chargers are 7-0. Back to throw, Jaworski on a first down. Screen to Keith Prepley, the big tight end. To the 20, 15, and Keith looks like he may have another first down. Bill Acker, 67 over there, again playing in place of the injured Mike Dawson. It's been a hard-hitting game. We've had a lot of people shaken up. Look at this from the end zone area.
It has, it's a screen pass to the tight end. It's off a play fake. He fakes the run to the left, comes back, lets the rush come, fakes the ball downfield, and then gets it out to his tight end on the right. Now, I think here they need a score sooner than this. I feel they're wasting too much time throwing screen passes, hitting their tight end. They have to get the ball into the end zone.
Thought occurs when they go for an onside kick if they score here. Here's Giamona inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. That will be a first down. The other one was just short. They had about a half-yard to go. Niels and Favron with the tackle. Seattle leads Washington. Boy, Washington played up in the coast area, the West Coast area last week and lost to Oakland, and now having a tough time with the Seahawks.
When you have Jim Zorn on the other side, you know, on any given Sunday, he could really get you. But again, getting that with only 6 minutes, 56 seconds, they need a touchdown. They can't be throwing screens and running. They have to get one in the end zone.
Look at Vermeil. You think he's still not in this game? First down. Here's Jaworski rolling. He hit the stick tight end. Keith Trepley could not hang on. Ken Green defending on the play. Jaworski that time moving around on it.
It was an organized run, though. You see it's a waggle. He fakes the sweep to the right, then he comes out to the left. He really had a two-way go here. He could have either stopped and thrown that ball to the tight end or maybe run it himself, but being a quarterback, that decision is made for you.
Would you call that a catchable pass?
Oh, very catchable. Very, very catchable.
We understand that Montgomery has a hip pointer. We're not sure whether he will return to the game or not. Second down at the 9. Second and goal from that point. Jaworski again over top to Carmichael. Broken up beautifully by Collier. Tim Collier somehow was able to keep that ball away from Harold Carmichael.
Maybe that was the secret weapon that he had. He said during the week that he saw something in Harold Carmichael that he knew that he could defend him, and maybe that was it. You just let him catch the ball and then knock it out of his hands when he brings it down. Right here, it's up in the air. He gets his hands right up with Carmichael and brings it down.
Well, Collier with an interception on the previous series. He's the man they picked up from Kansas City for a number 5 draft pick. Been an excellent cover man, but he started the year on the injured list. And now Dallas starting to put it on Green Bay. Packers are really struggling. Third down goal at the 9. 6.5 minutes left in the game. Jaworski to Trepley. Does he have it? He does for the touchdown. Keith Trepley made a fine catch. Mark Arneson defending on the play, but Trepley able to hang on.
Again, that was the one that they needed. They had to get one, and now they may very possibly come with an onside kick here. See, they had the tight end coming across. He drew linebacker coverage because they had 3 wide receivers in the game. Arneson really had good coverage in there. The ball just got beyond his outstretched right hand. 9-yard touchdown pass. Tony Franklin, the point after. Gyra to hold. Here's what Franklin sees. There is the foot that survived the cold weather last year. And Franklin makes it a 10-point game. 24-14. The Eagles trying somehow to battle back in this game. With 6:30 to go, it'll be interesting to see if they try the onside kick. There's the drive that picked up that touchdown. You can see St. Louis is set for an onside kick. That's in fact what Tony Franklin's going to do. He's not kicking off. Willard Harrell back there at the 5-yard line. Harrell the 15 to the 20, 25, 26-yard line. Well, the Eagles still figure with 6:30, I guess, that they can hold him here and get the football back and then maybe try the onside. That was a good decision. I think maybe they would have gone for it had not the Cardinals been in an onside prevent. But the Cardinals had 9 men right up on the line. They were expecting and waiting for the onside kick, and I think it was a good decision to kick the ball deep. And now you rely on these people right here, the defense. They have to stop them on 3 downs and get the ball back and go get another touchdown.
Gray and Tilley come flank to the bottom of the screen. Anderson's in there along with Wayne Morris. 6:21 left in the game. 24-14 St. Louis. Up the middle, Wayne Morris, and that's a 9-yard pickup. Bernard Wilson made the stop, and that's not exactly what the Eagles had in mind.
That's not what the Eagles had in mind, but that is what the Cardinals had in mind. And I don't want to be too redundant, but the one thing that has been happening all day is this Cardinal offensive line, to me, is the story of their success. They have really handled the Eagle defense, both on run and pass. Very, very impressive today.
And I think that's remarkable when you figure how chopped up it's been as far as injuries are concerned. They made what might have been a weak spot due to injury be a strength today. Second down, a yard to go. Morris, and Morris has the first down. Don't hear a lot about Wayne Morris. He's been overshadowed by Anderson, but he's a superbly conditioned athlete. He's changed his role. After Anderson came here, he became more of a blocker. but he is also a very creditable runner.
I watched him 1 year in the preseason about 3 or 4 years ago, and I was so impressed with him. I called the Cardinals, and I wanted to make a trade for him. And, of course, they realized and recognized what they had, and there was no way. They said, thanks for calling, but no thanks.
That was when Don Coryell, I expect, was coach here. Tilley, Gray, the bottom of the screen, first down at the 39, inside 5 minutes to go. Here comes Wayne Morris again. And Morris starting to pile up some yardage, close to the 45-yard line. Morris coming in here, carried the ball only 20 times. Claude Humphrey made the tackle, brings up second down and 4, and there's the time, starting to get away from the Philadelphia Eagles.
And for the Eagles right now, that's the most important thing. They need the ball. Time is running out.
St. Louis, who had lost their first 3 and starting to hear all kinds of talk of panic in this area, they're going to stabilize their football picture this year if they hang on here. Here is Anderson. Anderson across the 45, about a yard short of the first down. Say the Eagles are still popping people out there.
Both teams are still popping, and that's something that we had the whole game. I think we expected maybe that we'd have a lot more passing, a wide open game, but we've had a real physical game today, a real contact game.
O.J. now with 145 yards on 25 carries. George Collins now has come in at a guard, replacing Joe Bostic for St. Louis. We expected to see Collins at a tackle, but my recollection is that Brad Oates has stayed in there all the way and done well at that left tackle spot. He was a man who had some difficulty last week against Detroit. Here's Anderson on a third down, 2, and trying to get the first down. I don't know if he did or not. It may be 4th down. Boy, he really stuck his helmet in there, but the Eagles may have kept him from getting to the 49.5. They're going to measure, I believe.
He tried to finish that run off, but the Eagles defense really didn't want to let him finish it off. But I think he did get it.
Kansas City has scored. Now 7-7. Baltimore now has given up a touchdown. The Jets, with all that speed and all that offense, not really getting their offense on track.
Well, you need a little more than speed. You know, sometimes what they're doing to the Jets is they're doubling those outside receivers, and Todd is dumping off the back. So they knew it was the first down. I could see it from up here. They didn't have to measure that.
First down.
That hurt the Eagles right there.
That's right, with 3:21 left. Speaking of the Eagles, Bill Bergey, the last time these two teams played here, was on the sidelines on crutches. I want you to tell me a story about Bill Bergey one time when we get some time in this game, playing against your Oakland Raiders. He was giving Jim Otto some difficulty. That's Hall of Famer at
in
center.
his rookie year.
Do that after this play. First down, Hart to Morrison. He is hit hard. As you look at Bergey, 66. What was the story? He was a rookie.
He was a rookie at Cincinnati, and we were having trouble blocking him, and he was making all the tackles. And once, right in front of me, he made a tackle, and I told Jim Otto, I said, doggone it, Jim, you have to get the middle linebacker block. You have to block Bergey. And Bergey says he can't do it. He's too slow. He's too old. There's no way. Well, I knew right then I didn't have to say another word, because Jim Otto did not let Bill Bergey make a tackle the rest of the day. That's all he needed. That's all I needed.
That's the reason he's in the Hall of Fame, right? Second down, 8. Hart to Anderson. Look at Anderson. Just kind of skips to the 45-yard line. He's something to watch. Al Chesley, who's in there, 59, made the stop. And we're going to have a timeout called by Philadelphia with 2:07. So they have a timeout here. Then they'll have a clock stoppage with a 2-minute warning. Bostic is back in there at offensive guard for St. Louis. A timeout. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, the Eagles judiciously using a timeout, because now, after 7 more seconds eclipsed on that clock, they'll have another stoppage, the 2-minute warning. So the 2-minute warning has not been executed yet. As you see, the 10-point difference. Dick Vermeil, the NFL Coach of the Year. What a job this man has done in Philadelphia. Vermeil, in his 5th year, they were 33-33 coming into today in those 5 years. The last two, they've had the winning years. Back to throw Hart on a third down. Got a lot of time. The Otis Brown, the intended receiver, Reggie Wilkes and Herman Edwards defending. Looks like the Otis Brown had a little footing problems on that because he ran over in one of those sliding box areas for baseball and stumbled. So the 2-minute warning is here. 2-minute warning as the Cardinals now will have to kick the football. Larry Swider will go back. Wally Henry and John Shira back for the Eagles inside the 10-yard line. 24-14. Swider on the snap from Brahaney hits it very, very high. Wally Henry hasn't called for the fair catch to the 10, 15, 16-yard line. Kept thinking he might call for the fair catch. That ball was kicked so high. Randy Love down to make the tackle for St. Louis. Well, I tell you, a lot of people making this a very enjoyable telecast today. Our executive producer, Charles Milton III. Our producer, Jim Stillman. Our director, Robert Fishman. Our associate producer, Vince Lena. And I tell you, I really enjoyed working with these people today.
Right. Fine job, man.
The Eagles have one timeout remaining. They have the football at the 16-yard line. 1:49 left, and they're 10 points down. Jaworski off to Harris. Harris to the 15, gets out of bounds to the 16-yard line. Not picking up very much on that play.
Not quite enough.
Nothing downfield on that one.
No, I think if they keep doing that, I think we can call in the dogs and put out the fire. The hunt's over.
Start thinking about next week. There's the time, 1:43. The Eagles return home to play Washington. The Cardinals go to New Orleans to meet the Saints. And Jim Hannafin is on his way to his first victory in the National Football League. Dallas, a final over Green Bay. Boy, the Cowboys are putting it together. That game in Denver kind of shook them up a little bit, I think.
Good.
Back to throw, Jaworski. Carmichael. Carl Allen trying to get on a stepladder that time and drag him down. That'll be a first down out to the 30-yard line. Go back and look at it.
When Harold Carmichael gets those shoulders turned, it's like the basketball player, you know, that screens out the defender. Watch him here. When he gets square and in there's no way that defender can get to the ball.
They're hurrying it up. First down, Jaworski. Nobody there, nobody open. Harris, the closest man. Everybody thinking that should be intentional grounding, but no way. He threw it over in that area. But again, give credit to this Cardinal secondary. They are sticking with them. 1:14. Well, Ron Jaworski's stats will suffer just a little bit today. As we said, he was hitting 68%. Cardinals had one turnover today thus far. Eagles with 3. That's a very well thrown pass to Keith Krepfle for the first down. He kind of threw that one to a spot.
He did. Well, Krepfle was coming across the field, and he led him on the crossing pattern. And again, the Cardinal defense is playing a prevent thing, so they were way deep. They let Krepfle come across the field, and Jaworski did a good job of finding him.
See the time left, 23-yarder that time. He kills the clock with 46 seconds. Well, let's just speculate a moment here. They could hit a bomb right now. Then they got the onside kick possibility. I know St. Louis still has to be a little concerned about that.
I don't think so, really, because they still need 2 scores. And, you know, that always could happen. But I think St. Louis, right now, you know, until the final gun goes off, you never really feel good about anything. Sometimes you don't even feel good after the final gun goes off. But they probably feel pretty good right now.
10-point lead by Philadelphia. Carmichael, Smith, the wide receivers. Giamona, along with Harris in the backfield. Second down, 10. He's going over the middle to Krepfle. Broken up that time. Ken Green is over there. Also Carl Allen. And this secondary of St. Louis, which this year was 12th in pass defense, has played very well today.
Has done a fine job. You know, one interesting thing is we watch the play again here with the good defense, good conversion, and on every pass, they've always had more than one defender there. On every run, they've had 5 or 6 tacklers there. That's the thing that has impressed me about the Cardinal defense. You know, one thing that the Eagles could do with 10 points, they could get one more completion, kick a field goal, then go for the onside and go for the 7.
40 seconds left. Boy, the Cardinals gave up 5 touchdown passes against the Giants early, and the difference of that game and this one is remarkable. Almost intercepted by Favron. Calvin Favron, who last year was a second-round draft pick out of Southeast Louisiana State. That'll bring up a 4th down.
Well, they're going for the field goal, and I'm sure that's what they'll do, is they go for the field goal here. If they get it, come back with the onside kick, try and get that, then go for the touchdown.
I tell you, Franklin is a threat from anywhere. Remember, he has kicked a 59-yarder. That occurring last year in college, he had 2 over 60 yards. Well, this is going to be a 60-yarder. Now, the record in the National Football League was 63 yards by Tom Dempsey.
This is fun just to watch.
A 60-yard attempt by Franklin. Shira to attempt it. Franklin's kick is on the way, and it is just short. Pretty good effort by Franklin. And the Cardinals will take over. Line of scrimmage way outside the 30-yard line. So Tony Franklin now 2 for 4 in the field goal department. Cardinals will actually have the ball at the 42-yard line. That was the line of scrimmage. And so this crowd here in St. Louis who came here, I think, expecting the Cardinals to have a long afternoon, have gone away with a bonus, if you're a Cardinal fan.
Well, they sure did, and they had a sellout today, so they had a lot of them there.
Dick Vermeil, I'm sure, will have a few things to say to this team as they get ready for the Redskins next Sunday. That will be quite a game.
Yeah, that will be.
Looking forward to that one.
We'll be there.
First down from the 43, and Philadelphia has 1 timeout left. They're going to use it now. Timeout, Philadelphia. I've often wondered, I got to ask you this, why do you use the timeout now?
I don't know why. I don't know that I would use one there. As we look at Jim Hannafin, and there's a happy person right now, because when you're 0-3, like I said, whether it's 0-1 or 0-2 or 0 anything, you never know if you're going to win until you do. So Jim's a happy man. I don't know, when you need 2 scores, I really don't know why you take a timeout now, unless it's just to practice one more play.
I guess maybe you feel like people think you should. Just go out with style. You know, Dan Deerdorf from the top of our show really called this game. He said, this is the kind of football team we need to play to shape ourselves up, get things put back together. And I would say the Cardinals from here on are going to be a pretty tough football team. They were considered at the start of the year the biggest long shot in the NFL to win it all. Now that shows you the kind of talent that some people felt they had in this National Football League.
Everyone's on the sideline congratulating Otis Anderson, and he sure deserves it for a job well done today.
Anderson with 151 yards and 27 carries for the day.
And I'm sure that he realizes that, and that he will probably in turn give a lot of credit to his offensive line. And there's Jim Hannafin getting that right. He's waited a while for it, but I'm sure that now he feels it's worthwhile.
Well, I tell you, you've been carried on the shoulders of your players before, so you can experience what he is going through now. The final score, 24-14 in favor of St. Louis. For John Madden, I'm Gary Bender. The NFL on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.